officially started, but we started. So I want to welcome you guys again. So this is Attack the Talk. This is the episode we're going to be focusing on voice acting. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
No, yeah, welcome, guys.
Another OVA, number 26.
Welcome, guys. This is Attack the Talk. I'm your host, AJ. We're going to continue on with the story. We had a fun little hangout sesh last week with Zach. Zach came back from his trip from Japan. But like anybody who is coming back from vacation, it's tough adjusting back to your daily life, daily routines, which unfortunately Zach is not with us because he is back at work.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get...
Especially because he was in Tokyo for 2 weeks?
Yeah, he was like 10, 12 days or something like that.
Okay, so almost 2 weeks.
Don't remember exactly how long.
Coming back and just being like...
back and have to go ahead. Just jump back into, again, your daily normal routine. But so Zach is not with us, unfortunately, but Zach will be back. We'll try to get Zach back over in the podcast next week. Zach's at work. And, like I said, I'm AJ. Here with me is Lexi, of course. We'll go ahead and we'll ask Lexi how she's doing. But we're going to go ahead and continue on, as I said, with the story. This will be Season 3, Episode 19, The Basement. And this will be Part 3 and the end of our breakdown discussion for this specific episode. And, we kind of talked about it a little bit with in conversation with the character that you're going to be voicing. Yeah. The annoying voice that you don't want to go ahead and be doing. The little girl voice.
But it is just a little girl, so...
we go ahead and we end this episode with, essentially a giant change of scenery. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we go back in time and we come to go ahead and see a character that we are familiar with in a certain time period. Mm-hmm. A character that is...
in a completely different location.
Very young.
Used to seeing him.
Completely different location with his younger sister. And the younger sister obviously is very joyful, very full of life. And for people who know what we're talking about, also understands that because she's so full of life, it's ultimately sad what ends up happening to her. But of course, we'll talk about it. We have to talk about it.
When she is no longer full of life.
When we get to that point, exactly. Very, very sad. But again, like Lexi mentioned, a completely different location. And it's a location that we're going to get hinted at the end of this episode. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and see glimpses of it.
Yep.
And what's going to be fun to talk about is... once our characters that we're familiar with go to this basement where they're trying to get to, and they go ahead and they see the revelation, they see what they've been searching for. One, they have no idea even what they're looking at because it's such new kind of tech that, what even is this? And again, we're going to talk about it when we get to it. But so we'll be finishing episode 19 of season 3. Warning again to our friends, spoiler talk. We love to go ahead and talk about spoilers, and I would imagine that we're going to go ahead and get into some spoilers in this episode because, as we just said, we get introduced to a specific location, and of course we'll go ahead and we'll get into a recap to the best we can because it's been 2 weeks since we covered the story. We'll go ahead and we'll do a recap, and then of course we'll go ahead and we'll do our Q&A, and we actually have a poll question.
Yeah.
For this week, and I think that we should do the poll first once we get to it, and then that way with the Q&A that we asked, it involves traveling. That way, hypothetically, we know who you guys voted for would be traveling with.
Yeah, who will be taken?
Where are we going?
I'll count every single username that voted for me, and we're all going to Japan. And
there we go. So that'll be fun, guys. So now I want to go ahead and ask Lexi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. Anything fun this weekend, or anything cool happened during the week, or any cool stories?
I'll start with Wednesday. Was my boyfriend Luca's sophomore night. Mm-hmm. Even though they didn't do anything for him, but why
not?
But I don't know. That school just never does anything for sophomore nights. I don't know why. I think it's unfair. I think it's sad, but whatever. So then I was like, well, screw that. I'm gonna make it special. Mm-hmm. So I showed up with like all of our friends, and I made posters and signs.
Nice.
And we sat like as close as we could to the court, as close as we could to the court, and we're just screaming for everything. Like even like their team is like talking to us, being like, oh, shout this, or like obviously hearing us and stuff. So we made it special. Mm-hmm. I know the school wasn't going to make it special, but I was like, okay, this has to be special regardless, because this is his last conference game at this school. Like that's not fair to just be like, oh, it's just another game, given they did play a team that was
over it. treat it as if it's another game. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's a special occasion for him, you know?
Yeah, like it's his last conference game at this school. I mean,
You said you guys were going to play against a team that...
they ended up, even though they ended up playing against a team that's absolute dog water. So it was a very quick win, but you know, it's they got to have fun. Which was, you know, the funnest thing to see. They got to have fun, and our friends were there and everything, and there was a little hangout at my boyfriend's apartment afterwards. So that was a lot of fun. And then yesterday actually was the team that I manage at the university's senior night. Mm-hmm. So, and one of my closest friends, Pretty, is a senior. So she was one of the ones I was getting like congratulated and stuff. Yeah. And me and Zach, not gay Zach, me and Zach spent so long decorating, and this, like, all the decorations and all that, there was like a potluck after, was not funded by the school at all. It was all funded by the coach, because she wanted to give them a good sophomore night, because these were really great, senior night, because these were really great, impactful seniors that have been in the program since like COVID. Yeah. So obviously she wanted to give them a great night. So me and Zach decorated our butts off, and it ended up coming out super cute, and yeah, it was really cute. And then later on in the night, obviously, a lot of the team is going to be like, some of them are going to be like, I'm sad it's over, but also no more season, it's over. I don't have to do with practices anymore. I don't have to do all that gas money. I have some more free time. So they're like, it's over, let's get drunk. So obviously they were like, let's let loose, let's get drunk. I was like, okay, guys.
College mentality. I
know, like, okay, let's go. And like, I was like telling them to, and I was like, hey guys, make sure you do your homework tomorrow. Yeah, so me and a couple of my close friends who were on the team, we were playing like, I brought my Switch, so we played some Jackbox.
Oh, wow.
And we,
I really like the Jackbox version that you got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked it. But what sucked is that I connected to the school Wi-Fi, and there were a couple of times where we're playing a game, we're in the middle of it, and it just crashes. Oh. And we're like, no! So we have to try to go to a different game. But the games were a lot of fun. It was really funny. And then later on in the night, it was funny too, because we were drinking like champagne, because we wanted to pop bottles of champagne, obviously, for our seniors. So it was like, okay, we have champagne, and then one of my other friends, because there was only like 6 of us or 7 of us, like we don't need that much alcohol. So there was champagne, and then one of my friends was like, okay, I got alcohol, and came in and was like, it's just Coke and rum. It's just rum and Coke.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, classic. Okay. But I only had some champagne, and then the rest of the night for the drinking games, I was drinking water, which was still fine. I was staying very hydrated.
Yeah. You're not really much of a drinker anyways.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drinker. I was drinking champagne solely for like the celebratory factor of it. I was like, sure, I'll have like a cup or 2 of champagne. I didn't like it, but I'm like, whatever, it's celebration. But the games that we ended up playing was, because we obviously got all Jackboxed out because it just kept lagging or whatever. So then it was like, okay. And Zach was like, oh, I have some like a deck of cards. Like, do you know any games with a deck of cards? And I was like, actually, my brother showed me this game called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. Let's play it. And I literally had to...
little icebreaker game.
I had to look up some rules too, to like remember what it was. Yeah. But yeah, me and Pretty were the only ones that knew it. And I was showing my friends, and it was really funny.
It's fun when you have a solid group. You know,
yeah, because there was a solid like 6, 7 of us.
Yeah. Did you remember how to play? You said you had to look it up.
I did have to look it up a little bit. I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4 cards, and I ended up just doing my own version of it, because I was like, I don't remember. Just
so you asked.
Okay, what's the suit?
Yeah, you asked them 4 questions. First is red or black.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Second's gonna be higher or lower.
Oh, second one's higher or lower. That's the one I forgot. Third one
is outside or in between.
Okay.
Yeah. So
which one is suit?
So the 4th one's suit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 4th one is suit, and at that point, everybody has 4 cards.
Uh-huh.
And then this is where the good, the bad, and the ugly come into effect.
Yeah,
now.
the good side, the ugly.
Everybody keeps their cards in hand. Everybody can see them, right? You have 3 cards in one row, 3 cards in another row.
Okay, so it is 3. Okay. Yeah. And so I did that right.
1 lone card.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be which is the ugly.
And then, however you want to determine it, you have, like, you'll tell Zach, decide which one's good, which side's bad.
Yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I was like, okay, Luca. Yeah. Which one?
So then, at that point, you go ahead and you flip over each card, because obviously they're face down. And then whoever has the good card passes out drinks. Whoever has the bad card has to take drinks.
Yeah, has to drink. And it gets progressively more, right? Like one sip, 2 sip, or whatever, one drink, 2 drink.
1 drink, 2 drinks.
Okay, so the thing that I couldn't remember initially was, let's say I'm like, okay, what's the color? They guess the color right.
Yeah.
They hand out 1 drink.
Yeah, so anytime you're correct, you pass out drinks.
Okay, then we played it correctly.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that.
And then
for
so
sure.
obviously drinks are going to go ahead and kind of compile. So let's say, once you get to the suit, that's going to be 4 drinks, right? So you can obviously give all 4 to one poor person.
Yeah.
Or you can go ahead and split them.
Or we split them up, yeah.
You can split them. But how me and my friends would play it is that you'd go from 4 drinks, right? And then once you get to the good and the bad, 5 drinks, 6 drinks, 7 drinks.
God, I thought we were doing a lot too, because thankfully I started that game early in the night.
Yeah.
Because I remember like I was getting it all set up, and like my friends were like, okay, like, do you want to take a little shot while we're like to my friends, obviously. They was, do you want to take a shot before we start the game? And I was like, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe you don't want to, because you're going to drink in this game. And they were like, oh, never mind then.
Yeah, you're going to be drinking, you're going to be passing out drinks.
Yeah, and passing them out. Yeah.
There's going to be one or the 2 choices.
Yeah, for real. So that was a lot of fun. And then we ended up playing.
Did anybody get stuck with the ugly card?
No one got ugly.
Yeah, everyone avoided the ugly card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people listening who don't know, like the end of the game, so once all the good and the bad cards have been flipped over, you get to the one card that is sitting there by itself for good reason.
Yeah, because it's ugly.
Whenever you flip that ugly card over, whoever has that card has to finish their drink.
So it's whoever has the number and.
It's just so. Say for example, it's just you flip it over, and doesn't matter the suit. It's a 10.
Oh, okay. Then
So
we did do it correct.
Anybody that has a 10.
Actually, no, we did say specifically because the one who got it. Actually, I think it actually was a 10. So that was crazy.
Oh, really?
It was a 10, and we saw, and I was like, oh crap, Zach got the 10, but he just opened up a new
That's the
drink.
thing that's shitty about the game is that.
Because he had been taking sips, obviously.
That's the thing.
And was like, oh, this is done.
You're going to be taking drinks as you go, so you have to be kind of strategic with with the quantity of a drink that you take.
If it's starting to go towards the end of the game, you want to have a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to just have a little bit.
With the ugly card, all of a sudden it's just like, okay, I just got to finish my beer or
I'll just finish these last
whatever
two
it is you're
drinks.
drinking. Yeah, that's a game that me and my buddies would play back in the day. I myself do not drink anymore. I've been sober for over a year now. But yeah, that's cool when you kind of college kind of just mind.
Yeah, just college fun.
You said the season's done. Now it's kind of like enjoy.
We're free.
Yeah. So anything else happen, Lex?
And then other than that, well, because Zach had just opened his drink, we told him that because it was a black 10, we're like, it was a 10 of spades or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, it just has to be a black 10. Because he had a 10 of diamonds, and we were like, okay, fine, so that you don't have to chug your entire drink that you're supposed to save for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You don't have to. We're like, okay, cool. And then we ended up playing
it was a King's Cup?
around a King's Cup, yeah. Which
King's Cup's another fun game. A game that actually takes quite a long while when you have like a big group of people.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. But unfortunately, we didn't realize that the deck of cards we were playing with only had 2 kings in it.
Oh.
So we were playing and we were like, okay, so these last 2 cards, because there's only 2 cards left in the middle, and we're like, these last 2 have to be kings, let's go. And it was like a 6 and then like a 4, and we were like, what? And I was talking to Zach, and Zach was like, crap, I have dropped these cards before at a hotel. Maybe I left a few at the hotel. So Zach was like, throw them out.
But
thankfully we had thankfully we had another deck of cards that hadn't been opened yet, so those ones were fresh and everything. But it was a lot of fun. It was funny trying to remember and seeing how differently people play, because some rules are like 4 is floor, but 4 is whores, like it's supposed to be girls. Like it's
how
different.
My buddies, how we play, to be like 2
you
3 me, 4 we say respectable women,
respectable women,
5 drive.
Yeah, 5 drive. We could not get past like 3 people for a drive.
You had to pay attention.
Someone always messed up. It was like vroom,
and then
skirt, skirt.
And then
someone would always skirt the same way they just got skirted.
Oh yeah.
They were just repeating like skirt, skirt, and then be like,
and
that's
you're like,
wrong.
oh, that's wrong.
And I was the biggest op last night because you know how like for one of them you have to make a rule or the question master.
Yeah.
I was the biggest op. I literally was catching everybody off. I was even catching myself.
Really?
And I was calling it out because there was a point where Luca was a question master. And he would ask me a question. I'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, dang it, stop asking me questions. He's like, I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah.
So I was being fair.
yourself.
I was also catching myself while catching others.
So-
And one of the rules ended up being really, really funny because by the end of the game, all the rules add up.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, before every sip, you have to, first it started with, you have to do this before every sip. I was like, okay. And it was funny seeing people sip and be like, and take another. Because they're like, oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then later on, it was like, okay, new rule. You can't touch your hair. So we caught someone doing this. And we're like, you're touching your hair. And I was like, crap.
Wow.
So we ended up having to do this instead. Like, just don't touch your hair. And then another rule was, this was Zach's rule. Zach was, before every drink, you have to say, Zach is really cute. So we would go and go, Zach is really cute. And then the last rule was my friend Sam said, he was like, before, you're probably not going to get this reference, but it has been on SportsCenter, but like before you drink, you have to go, let's drink, brother.
I don't know that reference.
It's some guy that's just like, Tuesday, come on, brother, we got special teams, special players, special place. Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
It's like this nerdy dude.
There's a lot to remember
like,
for sure.
What's up, brother? What's up? So before every drink, especially when there was a time where we all had to drink because it was like someone maybe handed out all of them, or it was it was a waterfall.
Yeah.
And before we would like wait and be, you could tell who remembered and who didn't because it would be like half of the table being like, okay, drink, start it, you start it, and they would start and be like, and drink again because you just didn't do the rule.
Yeah.
And it was so funny seeing because we're all in a round table, we're all sitting around a table, and we're all going, let's drink, brother. Zach is really cute.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty good.
But it was really funny. It was really fun.
So that'd be like, and then 6 would be dicks.
Yeah.
7 heaven.
Yes, heaven.
Right. So 8 mate is how we play it.
Yeah, that's how we did it too.
So 8 mate. 9 rhyme.
Yeah.
10 categories.
Categories. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Then Jack would be. We've done it in the past where Jack is thumb master.
Oh, you had to put your thumb on the table. Yeah.
So thumb on the table, and obviously the thumb master starts it, right? And then everybody else has to go ahead. They have no thumb. They have to go ahead and put the thumb on the table. And whoever's the last person to do it has to drink. Right? And then Queen is question master.
Yeah.
And then King is rules.
I can't remember what we did for Jack.
But yeah, some rules that like me and my friends would do. I remember one of my buddies would love doing T-Rex arms.
Okay.
So, like you'd have to have T-Rex arms for every time you drink.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you saw someone just like drink again.
Yeah.
At one point, my friend, I don't know how much, I don't know if he was really feeling it, but he had to take a drink, or it was like, I think he got, 2 is you, so you have to drink.
Yeah.
He picked up a 2, and we were like, and we all went and drink again because he didn't know the rule, and he went again. And we're like, drink again. And he went again. And we're like, dude, you catch on. It's because you're not doing the rule.
Not doing
he was just like drinking again because we told him to, and he was like, no, you're not doing the rule. Dude, Zach is really cute.
Yeah, he was
Do
really
it.
feeling it.
He was just so oblivious, and it's so funny because he was so enthusiastic to answer every one of Luca's questions, and every time I'd be like, drink, and he's like, oh, like it would be something like. At one point, Luca was like, if I get the bitch cup, can someone please split it with me? And Sam was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I was like, drink. I was like, drink right now. You just answered a question.
Yeah. That's fun stuff.
But it was a lot of fun. That was my long-winded response on how I'm doing.
Good. I'm glad. It sounds like you guys had a lot of fun. Yeah, awesome.
How are you doing, host AJ?
Good. Yeah, good weekend. For anybody that is a fan of the UFC, they had their big UFC 300 card last night, and watched it with Dad and with my girlfriend. Yeah,
Nice.
It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah, my friend Pretty is actually really into MMA. I had no idea. Into UFC. She was like talking to me. She was like, Max Holloway is fighting tonight, and I was like, you know who Max Holloway is?
Yeah, Max Holloway is a stud.
But that's why she knows who he is. She was like, he's so fine. He's so hot. And I'm like, okay. She was like explaining describing his tattoos. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like, so you don't watch it for the fighting.
My girlfriend said that his waist is snatched.
Oh, that's great. I love that in a man.
She also said, man, what is up with these fighters? Like, because there was a couple thin ones. She goes, where are their organs?
Where are their organs?
They look so freaking thin.
Yeah, there's like no
the
body
abs
fat
and stuff and all that, you know. And yeah, so the fights were good. Max Holloway is an absolute beast. And anybody who watched the fights was in for a show when Max Holloway was fighting, and Max Holloway was victorious.
Cool.
He literally knocked the dude out with 1 second left in the fight.
Dang, that's crazy.
He went and he pointed at his opponent. He pointed at his opponent. He like pointed to the center of the ring, like right here, right now. So they both were face to face, just throwing it in the pocket, just haymakers.
Yeah.
And he caught his opponent with 1 second left.
Dang.
And he just face planted.
That had to be like crazy. Like the crowd was probably so loud.
I yelled. I literally.
People at home probably yelling.
I was like, oh!
Just so surprised.
And
oh my god!
The belt that they were fighting for. He actually won the belt from the champ who was his opponent. The belt was for the BMF belt, which stands for baddest motherfucker. So it's very fitting. Max Holloway is the baddest motherfucker.
I was like, now. Best martial fighter.
Yeah. But yeah, so Max Holloway is awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, so solid weekend. Yeah, it's fun.
Dang.
All right. So I think we can go ahead and get into the poll question.
Yeah, I am ready.
Let's do it.
I have it ready actually.
What the results are. So what did we ask?
I think you're gonna be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We asked you guys last week because we're talking about, traveling. I came back from a trip. Zach came back from a trip.
Exactly.
So we asked, who would you choose to travel with? And the options are me, AJ, and Zach.
Yeah.
So we have 2 votes that are tied, or 2 options that are tied.
Okay.
2 of us are tied for second place.
Interesting. Okay.
And one of us got first.
Okay.
By over a 30% difference.
30% difference. Wow.
Over a 30% difference.
Okay.
So the 2 that are...
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I told you who I think actually is going to be the most voted.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say the top would be Zach, which means you and me are tied for second.
Okay. And I like how we're saying second. We're not saying last.
Yeah.
And like, we're last.
Yeah.
No, second.
Both tied for second.
I will say Bobby, loyal friend of the show, Bobby7, did DM us and say, this question isn't fair because I would choose all of you.
Oh, okay.
That's so
Which I think
sweet
that
of
if
him.
we included a fourth option being all of the above, that would be the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah,
but we want to make it a little bit more difficult for you guys.
But we want drama.
Yeah.
So the 2 that are in second place are me.
Okay.
And Zach. Which means that you are the top vote getter.
You guys want to travel with me?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I'm blushing.
I wonder why.
So
what was your reasoning? No, I'm kidding.
Me and Zach are
like,
tied.
Because you're the host and you're more of like the daddy figure.
I know. You're more of the... I feel safe with you.
I'll be... Yeah, that's cool.
So me and Zach are tied with 22%, and you are at the top with 56.
Wow. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Zach too.
I thought it was going to be Zach. If you didn't say how it was going to, like, if you didn't give me the first initial info that
it's tied
for second place, I would have said that, no offense, but you probably would have been last.
I would have said that too.
I would have been second, and Zach would have been the favorite.
That's how I thought it was going to line up too. I thought it was going to be me, then Zach, then you.
Yeah, so that's how I thought it was going to be. But yeah, so I'm glad that nobody was last. We just had.
I know, we just had a tie.
Second. And
I agree. If we had an all of the above, that would probably
that would be the overwhelming favorite for sure. And if for anybody who didn't choose the all of the above, we would have been like, wow, like okay, you don't want to travel with me.
You don't want to. Yeah, that's a whole nother set of drama.
Yeah, but yeah. So wow, I'm very very surprised.
Yeah, it's
and that's
really
awesome,
cool.
Guys. So now we have a Q&A, and now we're gonna see where we are traveling together.
It's funny because I could see who voted who.
You can see?
Yeah.
So would you be able to say that, like, for example, person wants to travel to blank with however they voted in the poll? Would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I can do that. Okay. So we're going to go based off of who we are familiar with, or do you want me to do... Yeah, we'll do based off who we're familiar with, because some of these users, unfortunately, we're not friends with you yet.
But did they vote in the poll?
They did.
Okay.
I guess I could still read them because it's not a lot of votes.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
You can still go ahead.
I think it's only like 10 total.
Okay.
So we can still go through it.
Yeah.
So starting off, our first voter was our friend of the show, Jacob.
Yeah.
Who do you think Jacob voted to travel with?
Travel with Zach.
He did pick Zach.
Yeah.
He did pick Zach. Yeah. Now, the next one is Bobby, who said this question isn't fair because he would choose all of us.
Yeah.
But he had to choose one.
Uh-huh.
So who's the one do you think Bobby chose?
I think Bobby chose me.
He did.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
Right on, Bobby.
Next, we have another friend of the show, Josh.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think Josh said?
I'm hoping Josh chose me.
He did.
Yes,
3 for
Josh.
3. Woo! Next, we have new friend, Dice_Paradise.
Okay.
Who do you think Dice Paradise voted for?
I think Dice voted for you.
Dice Paradise voted for you.
Wow. Shout out to Dice.
Now we have another new user. I believe I'm pronouncing this right. Fassam.
Okay.
Fassam.
Yeah.
Who do you think Fassam voted for?
I'm going to keep saying you two, you got to vote.
That is me.
Okay, cool. So
that is me.
You and Fassam are traveling. You're going to have to get the pronunciation correct.
I know. Fassam? Fassam?
Uh-huh.
It's his last name, so
Okay.
I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm sorry. Next, we have our cousin.
Okay.
Who
Which
do
cousin?
you think? This one is
it
username
deloading?
A Cervantes.
Oh, okay.
So this one is, yeah.
So it's our cousin. And
Who do you think you voted for?
chose me. Come on.
Yeah, he chose you.
Chose me. Come on. I
chose
know
me.
my cousin. I know.
I'm like, no, he chose Zach.
I got it. Yeah.
Next, we have Eddie.
Oh, I think Eddie chose Zach.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Next, we have, this is so obvious. We have Luca.
Oh, okay.
Mamone.
So let's see.
Who do you think Luca voted
I'm
for?
gonna go out on a limb and say Luca's gonna travel with his girlfriend. That'd be you.
No.
Like, no, he actually chose you.
He chose you.
Wow. Okay.
No,
cool.
he chose
Where are
me.
we going, Luca? No,
He
kidding.
chose me. He chose me. And lastly, we have another new friend, Blake Bauer 10.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think Blake voted for?
I'm gonna say Blake voted for me.
Yeah, voted
right,
for you.
cool.
Statistically, it would have to be you, right?
Yeah.
Because me and Zach tied.
It's tied, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how interesting.
Wow, that's awesome. And I want
Now
to
you
say,
have,
of
you have
course,
to personally thank each and every one of them.
thank you all for voting in the poll. Of course, we appreciate anytime you guys go ahead and you give us your results. It's always fun for us to go and talk about it. And I want to specifically thank those who voted for me. I'm honored. I'm excited to see what we're
Specifically
going to be
thank-
traveling to together. So let's go ahead and let's see the Q&A.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give us the Q&A question, and then we'll go ahead and we'll see what our friend said, and then we will remember what's going
Here we
on.
go.
And yeah, there's
there
Luca right there.
is Luca. Hello, Luca.
What's up, Luca? Congratulations on the sophomore night, my friend.
Oh yeah, congrats on that.
Too bad your school didn't want to go ahead and do really much for you guys, but or
I
much
know.
for you. But yeah, obviously shout out to Lexi for being an amazing girlfriend. Obviously being an amazing friend too, because you went all out for your friends as well, or for your school. And yeah, so I hope it was fun. And obviously you guys kicked ass too, I'm guessing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those like just mess around and have fun type
yeah,
games.
that's cool. And those are fun games to have on
Yeah.
a cool little night, because not to say that a competitive game and winning a competitive game, obviously
Yeah,
that'd be like
that's
the
a whole
ultimate high.
different type of fun.
But to go out there, hey, let's kind of just have some fun with it. We know we're gonna be this team.
Let's try
Just
some
fucking
things.
just-
Let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
They did actually try some things because Luca, for those of you that know volleyball, Luca is a middle. And middles are notoriously known for just being tall, gangly,
course, bro.
bad passers. And there is another position that's called a libero. And liberos are known for being the best passer, best defensive player on the court. So in the last point, the coach subbed out the libero and replaced him with Luca.
Oh, wow.
And Luca passed a dime, and it was the game-winning point.
Oh, hell yeah. Right on.
So that was amazing. For those of you that know volleyball, that it was really funny. It was really funny.
And just keep in mind, too, that if you ever play a sport, can you imagine
Like
your coach telling you, all right, you play running back, but we're going to put you at quarterback. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they like put you in pretty much I think middle to libero is the complete is as opposite as you can get in positions.
So then there you go. So that'd be cool. So I'd be like, all right, so instead of being the receiver and catching the ball, you're actually going to be quarterback and throwing the ball.
Yeah,
you know?
you're throwing it. I'm like, what?
Well, there you go. So,
pretty
that's
much.
awesome. Yeah, again, congratulations, Luca.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And thanks for voting for me. You got me to tie with Zach.
Yeah, there we go.
So, our Q&A, now that we asked you, is if you could travel anywhere, where would it be?
Yeah. And I think what's interesting about this question is that, one, how I interpreted it would be like, it can be obviously a real place, but sometimes you can be creative, and maybe if there's a certain kind of area, a certain kind of location, or maybe even like a certain land over in anime that you would want to go and travel.
That would be cool.
We didn't really give you guys the whole kind of like, idea of that, but
Yeah, because we did
Just
say
to
if you
see
could travel anywhere.
yeah. And sometimes too, we ask you guys questions to see how far you guys are willing to take it, because we've talked about before in the past where our friend Jacob really thinks about the question, in a more kind of larger kind of idea, which is awesome. I like when we kind of think outside of the box a little bit. And so, not to say I didn't, obviously I don't know any of the results, but I'm kind of curious to see if anybody, by
chose
chance,
anything that's
anything
not
I'd be like, oh,
on
like,
Earth.
I would like to go over to, and say like, whatever the land is over in the anime you like, But sometimes those lands are scary, so maybe not.
Yeah, I know. That's true, because like, what if you go into like the world of My Hero Academia, and you don't have a quirk?
Yeah. And
You're just this quirkless fool.
What would be
Quirkless loser.
funny is if, like, for that example, if say Luca said that, or say like Fassum, or however you pronounce the name, we apologize again, said that, be like, guess what, Lexi? You're traveling with them over to that area.
I know. We're going to the AOT world. Like, no, I will get eaten. I'm not a fighter like that. I promise.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see.
Yeah.
So we got a total of 3 votes.
Okay.
First vote is from our friend of the show, Jacob.
Okay. So Jacob's gonna be traveling with Zach.
Yeah, he's going to be traveling with Zach.
Where are Jacob and Zach going?
And Jacob said that he would love to go to Romania to see his long-distance girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
Wow.
That's so
That's
sweet.
really, really cute. Wow.
Aww.
But you're taking Zach with you, so.
Yeah, but I know. But you're going to be with Zach.
But you're taking Zach with you, so.
He's going to be your little third wheel.
But Zach, Zach goes on side quests, so if you take Zach to Romania, you can go and obviously spend time with your girlfriend.
Zach has no problem going out and doing things on his own. He'll make friends. He'll come back with like a bird and 2 new friends.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
He'll be fine if you guys want to go on a date, and he'll just go do his own thing.
Wow, Romania, that's awesome. And
Romania is like beautiful too.
Yeah. So cool, man.
Land of the
And
vampires.
I had no idea that you were in a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. How cute.
So shout out to you both.
Hopefully my advice about distance relationships a couple episodes ago maybe resonated with you.
Yeah,
maybe helped you out.
Maybe it's something that, because let's face it, anybody who's in a long distance relationship, that's very it's a huge tough test. And if you love somebody enough, then you know that you'll make it work for sure. But yeah, those are difficult. But shout out again. Yeah. And have fun over in Romania with your girlfriend and Zach. All right.
Yep. Good job, Jacob. Next, we have friend of the show, Bobby.
Oh, okay. So me and Bobby, where are we going?
You and Bobby. I don't know if you want to go with him.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Bobby said that he would love to go into the depths of space.
Oh, shit.
He said, but if I have to choose a realistic answer, it would be Europe or South America.
Okay, cool.
Nowhere specific, but those are 2 beautiful places that you could. But his first choice is the depths of space.
The depths of space is a tricky one. That's a scary one.
That's like kind of a life or death little vacation there.
But hey, fuck it, Bobby.
You know what?
We're going to
We're gonna see
space.
stuff that maybe no one has ever seen before.
We're gonna go ahead and film every bit of it until that camera's fucking randomly explode or whatever the case is.
Until the camera
and we disappear
explodes.
into the void of space.
Yeah.
But it'll make for a good story, and guess what? In the future, they'll make a movie out of it.
I know. Yeah. You'll have a. Yeah. Who would you want to play you in the movie?
They're gonna cast Pedro Pascal as me.
Really? What if it was Joaquin Phoenix?
I mean, that'd be awesome, but that doesn't seem like a Joaquin Phoenix movie.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably cast Pedro Pascal for me.
It does seem more like an action movie.
I'm cool with Pedro Pascal. So Bobby, we're gonna give you a specific Q&A. So who's gonna be?
I know, Bobby.
Who are you fan casting?
Yeah, who are you fan casting as yourself in this
in this
space
hypothetical
movie?
Depths of Space movie? Yeah. So who's gonna be traveling with AJ, aka Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, who's gonna be in that action biopic? Thank you for that, Bobby.
Yeah, shout out, Bobby. I love that.
Last
and
we have
going to South America and going to Europe would be awesome.
Yeah,
and,
there's a lot. There's so many beautiful
I've
places
never
there.
been to either, and as a matter of fact, I'm excited for in my near future. I'll be traveling to Europe, specifically London, with my girlfriend.
That sounds like so much fun.
Insane. Yeah.
So jealous.
She's, I don't think we talked about it, but yeah, she's an incredible artist. And so she's gonna have a show over in London. And,
that's gonna be so much fun.
And I'm lucky enough to go with her.
I'm her plus one.
I'm lucky enough to go with her.
No, you're her assistant. That's what you're doing. You're gonna help her set up.
Exactly.
Be her bodyguard.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And her therapist.
And she knows that. She knows that. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. And then once I get back from Europe, I'll go back to Europe again with you, Bobby.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would love to go to Europe.
maybe Bobby just going with me and my girlfriend.
I know. Maybe Bobby's just going.
Maybe
he'll be the third wheel.
Much like Zach third wheeling with Jacob and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bobby, you're gonna be third wheeling with me and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
it's fine. She's cool. They're cool people.
What's up, Zebra Cakes?
That's funny.
Shout out to Zebra Cakes.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby. And I look forward
I
to
hope
that.
you're okay with Bobby going with us, baby.
Yeah, Bobby's coming with. And last we have user Aura_AB.
Okay. So Aura did.
Aura Ab.
Yeah. So Aura didn't go ahead and vote. So
No, so
Aura wants to travel alone.
Yeah, Aura's going to be a lone rider.
Or maybe Aura's going with all of us. Maybe we'll
maybe
say,
they just didn't vote and we're like, I want all of you.
Where are you, me, and Zach traveling to Aura with?
We are all going with Aura to Japan. Woo!
Live show in Japan.
We're gonna get that wine.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, those are all of the votes. Thank you guys for all your voting.
I love it.
Yeah, reading out specifically who voted made it way more interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And sorry we outed all of your guys' votes.
But it's all love. You guys know that. And we know that if you guys had the choice to choose all of us, you guys would. Just like even with Bobby's message to us,
Yeah, saying like that's not fair.
I think that's the same sentiment that you guys all felt.
Exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He said, "This ain't fair because it's honestly all of y'all." That's what he said.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
I said, "Oh, we could take an AOT family road trip."
yeah, that'd be cool. And he obviously brought up a great response when it comes to road trip. Like, guess what? We're first going to South America, and then we're all traveling over to Europe after.
Yeah, we're just taking a world tour.
And then for anybody that wants to go ahead and travel even further, we're going to the depths of space.
Yeah, just a little further, just a couple more.
Yeah, right on. Again, thank you guys all so much for your votes and for your responses. We appreciate it so much. Don't be shy, guys. If you guys are joining us here live, go ahead and let us know over in chat where we're all traveling together, where you guys would want to travel.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. All right.
Very, very cool, guys.
Love it. All right. So now I think what we can do is do our best to recap the events that took place
2 weeks ago
prior to where we're going to be beginning. What we need to remember, of course, guys, is the mission at hand now.
Yeah.
Which we understand this battle to reclaim Walmaria, let's call it that, right?
Yeah.
Was actually successful by the scouts, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see later on.
Not without their losses,
a lot of losses.
Technically a win.
It's a win nonetheless because they reclaimed it, and now this new mission that they have is going to be, finally getting over to that basement. So the ones that are going to be traveling to the basement are 4 of our scouts. we understand that they said there's 9 left, right? Is that
Yeah.
what they said?
9.
So we have 4.
Counting Armin?
Yeah. So we have
9.
the 4, and then we have like Connie, John, Sasha, Locke, and Armin. Yeah. So we have 9. Which is insane again, because like Lexi mentioned, like all of the losses that they suffered, and there was a lot of them. I mean, you lose your commander, and then you lose so many other scouts, whether they be just recruits. So they could have been helpful in the long run. Obviously, we talked about Marlowe as a character as a bright future. Unfortunately, his life was cut short. But you can go ahead and kind of mention a few characters that had bright futures. And even if they were already at a certain status, they still had a bright future. Nonetheless, point being, scouts, hey, sometimes, your story kind of comes to an end.
But not without a fight.
Exactly.
Not without being labeled as a hero. I would call him a hero.
Exactly. But so the 4 characters we have going to be traveling over to the basement are, of course, Eren, of course, Mikasa. And then going with them is Captain Levi and the now new ongoing commander of the scouts, Hanji Zoe.
Yep.
So one thing Hanji had mentioned
Big
to Armin
shoes to fill.
is that Armin is not in this alone with having to go ahead and shoulder the weight of trying to go ahead and essentially carry on the future for humanity. Now, one of the bright minds, we understand Armin is a bright mind, but one of the bright minds, and for a lot of people, the hope of humanity is the commander Irvin Smith.
Yeah.
He is no longer with us. Unfortunately, he laid down his life to try to ensure victory.
He just wanted to finally rest.
He was very calculated with everything, but it got to a point where there's nothing else he could have done, and he was able to go ahead and persuade others to go ahead and fight to the end alongside him. There was an opportunity to bring him back, but like Lexi said, he got to a point where it was time for him to rest. And, and so Armin, being informed that he was brought back over the commander of the scouts, Irvin Smith, decided to really essentially kind of freak out. And
it is jarring information.
He felt like he wasn't capable of trying to go ahead and fill those shoes. And Levi was pretty much told him, don't get this mistaken.
Yeah,
You're not
I was just about
filling
to
his
mention
shoes.
that. That was so funny.
Like you are not.
So I'm his replacement? No.
Yeah.
You're nowhere near his replacement.
And that's where Hanji,
you're alive.
Yeah. And that's where Hanji goes out there and kind of tells Armin. But also, we talked about it too. Like, she was being very truthful to the point where it was kind of, it was like...
It sounded a little harsh.
It was very harsh.
It was a very harsh truth.
And, yeah, so...
Being like, oh, well, I didn't choose you, and I wouldn't have chosen you. I think we made the wrong choice, but you're here now, and nothing we can do about it.
Exactly.
Don't turn into a Titan and explode.
And then she's telling Armin that, look, that she is now ongoing commander, so she has to go ahead and figure all this out too, so you're not alone.
Yeah, she sympathizes.
But this isn't the first time where she was essentially kind of given that commander role. We know early on that Commander Irvin...
She has had a lot of leadership roles.
Irvin likes to gamble. He gambled his life in this coup d'etat, and thankfully, it turned out the gamble was successful. But in the events that it wasn't successful, he promoted Hanji to be the new commander. So this is unfortunately a role that Hanji wasn't already anticipating.
Yeah.
But Armin is back over on top of the walls because hey, he just got brought back. We don't know what kind of what his body's gonna do, how he's gonna react, or even how he's gonna be able to go ahead and just, it's the word I'm thinking of, like, control his ability.
Yeah.
We've seen in the past with new Titan users that they don't have full control over it, and if they don't have the proper training, then guess what? Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And
we joked around with Aaron's spoon fiasco. Like, if that happened with Armin, they're all dead.
Because we understand Armin is brought back because he ate. When he got turned into his pure Titan, he ate Bertold, and he acquired the Colossal Titan. The Colossal Titan being, the largest Titan that transforms, creating the biggest transformation, which you can essentially call a nuke. And
pretty much,
we don't want that. We don't want a spoon fiasco because we don't need nukes going off.
Yeah. Like, we just reclaimed the wall back, and if you nuked it,
Can you imagine if you go ahead and you travel back over to Eren and Mikasa's home, back over to the cellar, and Armin is there, and all of a sudden Armin notices Carla's shoe, or Armin notices something that's going to spark an emotion.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, just boom, like
like not only are obviously the characters gone, the cellar and everything is gone. That's all gone.
Yeah, and that would be a huge mistake. Which obviously Armin is resting. Another character who's resting because she was injured with her battle.
It was like loose shrapnel from the Thunder Spear's explosion.
Exactly. The Thunder Spear is so Sasha. She's also trying to go ahead and rest up and heal. And two characters.
Bunji's eye is obviously very injured, but he's like, I have one good eye. I'm going to see what's in that cellar.
Exactly. Yeah. So
and Levi's injured emotionally.
Yeah. He's trying to hang on for sure. But so they're making their way over to the basement, and we saw that as they were traveling back over to the basement that they kind of were reminiscing a little bit, because certain locations that they were traveling through, whether it be just old destroyed homes, whether it be like an abandoned like courtyard, or even just again going to a certain place where you're going to remember, like, damn, like I remember where there was like, this essentially was kind of like a flea market, and there were so many people, just so much like life. They were so lively. It was just people out there, just we see them smiling, just purchasing their groceries or whatever, purchasing whatever it is and stuff, and then we saw a very alive and youthful Eren and Mikasa, very much younger, running through the flea market, naive, running through this courtyard. It's one of those things where it's like they were kind of just recalling those moments, those simpler times, and then here they are now in the present time, walking through this ghost town, in this place which they used to call their home.
Interesting. I think that those are parallels of the past, when things were nice, your naive child, to now. I think that those scenes of them as children also parallels what we get after the credits.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, exactly. And we can go ahead and kind of talk about that when we go ahead and get to our final thoughts. So we'll go ahead and put a bookmark in that.
Yeah, put a pin in it.
But it's difficult because a moment that was emotional for me was the moment where we saw some garrison soldiers, specifically one specific garrison soldier, and that would be Hannes. Again, Hannes was a character where maybe he didn't take his job too serious, but he enjoyed it for what it was, and he, just, again, these characters are over in this kind of like poverty. They're living in poverty over in this kind of area that is, again, they're an outer they're an outer district on the outside wall. So essentially they're this like pocket outside the wall that is essentially closest to Titan country. They're not living the best.
Yeah.
But you see them.
But they can still find little joys,
It's a simple life, and they're just enjoying it. But yeah. Eren and Mikasa, you could tell they were trying their best to go ahead and just stay focused and stay cool, calm, and collected. And we kind of talked about it, like thinking about how difficult that had to have been. One, just kind of traveling back home, and we focused on a specific corner, and that was the same corner that
he turned when
he went ahead and he turned to when he was panicking and running back home to go ahead and
back at the initial breach.
His mom was okay, and obviously her, their mom, Eren's mom wasn't okay, but damn it, they made it over back to the house. The house is still very, very much in rough shape. And they saw some things like, Carla's shoe that is just covered in blood.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make their way inside the basement. So that's where we're gonna go ahead and continue on. They have to go ahead and find out what's in this basement, and how what they end up finding out, how that ends up changing the story. So, again, guys, this is going to be Season 3, Episode 19. This is The Basement. This is Part 3 of our episode breakdown and discussion. All right, you ready, Lex?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. We continue the episode as Hanji approaches Eren and Mikasa's old home. Hanji states,
Luckily for us, the fires burnt out before they got this far.
as we scan in front of the home, we can also see Levi just kicking old debris on the ground, and Eren and Mikasa are trying to salvage old kitchen plates and cups. Mikasa notices Eren as he stops briefly while he just stares at a cup. Mikasa also stops briefly to check on Eren. Eren continues. And then we see Eren removing old debris covering the basement door. Eren and Mikasa look at each other. They both nod in approval, and then Eren informs Hanji and Levi. This is it. The stairs to the cellar are beneath this door. Levi responds. Alright. But there's still something that's blocking the basement door entrance. The next scene we see Levi, Eren and Mikasa trying to leverage and remove the thing that's blocking this entrance door, which is a boulder. This boulder is in the way of the basement door. Hanji's on the other side of the boulder trying to leverage it to move as well. And then they're all able to roll the boulder away as Eren begins digging, clearing the path for the basement door now. Eren then reveals the basement hatch. He sees the handle. Eren lifts up the hatch to reveal the stairs that lead down to this basement door. Hanji, with the flashlight in hand, points the light down the stairs and says,
That's a relief. I was worried that it might have flooded by now.
Mikasa places her hand on Eren's shoulder and tells him,
Let's go.
Eren looks at Mikasa and again nods with approval. Levi now leads down the stairs with another flashlight in hand. As Eren and Mikasa follow, we can see Hanji at the top of the stairs pointing her flashlight to help light the path. Eren and Mikasa slowly walk down the stairs as Eren has a cautious look on his face. Levi reaches the cellar door, looks at the lock, then tells Eren, Do it, Eren. Eren approaches the door with the same cautious demeanor, with the key in his hand. Eren slowly places the key in the lock, as Levi, Hanji, and Mikasa patiently wait for the cellar door to unlock. However, we see Eren struggling to unlock the cellar door, twisting the key back and forth. Eren then gasps out loud, realizing something unfortunate. Hanji asks Eren.
You okay?
Mikasa asks.
What's wrong?
Levi begins to grow impatient. Hurry it up. Eren unfortunately informs. I can't. The key. It doesn't go to this door. Hanji reacts.
What?
Mikasa adds.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure it's the key that Dr. Yeager had.
Levi, now very much impatient, tells Eren, Step aside. I'll open it. Levi steps in front of the door. As Hanji is afraid, Levi is about to do something reckless.
Wait, what?
Levi gets in a strong stance. He then grunts out loud as he throws a strong right high kick towards the cellar door. The door partially breaks, creating an entrance for the group. Eren and Mikasa watch, stunned at Levi's strength. Hanji, surprised, says,
That'll do it.
Levi forces the door open, and all we can see is pure darkness. The strange, looming unknown that waits on the other side of the door, in that darkness. That's probably why Eren was so slow to approach the door, and seemed very cautious. A flame is now lit in a small table light, and the room now becomes visible. And as they all look around and scan the room, Hanji says,
It almost feels like a laboratory down here.
Eren informs Hanji, My dad was a doctor, so he was always cooped up down here mixing medicines. Hanji responds, as we get a look at the assorted mixed medicine collecting dust on shelves.
That makes sense. Actually, if we assume that all of this is labeled accurately, most of it seems to be widely available, and all the books on hand relate to medicine. This looks like a normal doctor's study. There isn't a single thing here that would rouse my suspicion, as I'm sure your father intended.
We can see that Levi is examining the assorted medicine bottles as he responds, right. If you want to hide something from the interior police, you want to make sure not to give them any leads. Levi turns around to get the attention of Eren and Mikasa. Hey, don't just stand there. Get to work. Irvin's hunches are rarely wrong. Eren and Mikasa both get to work on searching for anything important. They go through each book in Grisha's library, shaking them to see if anything drops out of them. They go through each drawers, trying to find something. Mikasa reaches for a book on Grisha's desk, but knocks over a wooden cup in the process. The cup falls to the ground, and that sparks a memory. Mikasa recalls this memory, and in this memory, Grisha is thanking a young Mikasa as she hands him the same wooden cup with the beverage inside. Grisha tells her, "It looks like another all-nighter." The memory fades as we can see Mikasa with this glimmer in her eye, almost appreciating the memory. Mikasa reaches to pick up the cup from the floor, but she stops. Mikasa is wide-eyed as she notices an important detail. Mikasa calls over Eren.
Eren, look. I found a keyhole.
Now everyone gathers around a specific drawer at Grisha's desk that has a small keyhole. Hanji tells Eren.
Try it.
Eren nods, preparing to place the key given to him by his father inside of this keyhole. The key fits perfectly as Eren acknowledges, "That got it." Eren turns the key and opens the drawer. But then, a disappointed and annoyed Eren says, "It's empty?" Levi informs Eren, "Look closer." Eren reaches to feel inside the drawer and then says, "It's a false bottom." Eren removes the false bottom, and then we can see what was being hidden. We see 3 different colored journals carefully placed inside of this drawer. Wow. I don't think they were necessarily anticipating, a couple little journals, a couple little, notebooks.
I don't think they knew what they were expecting, though. It was like, it's the
that's true.
truth. Okay, how?
Yeah, we can only imagine what it is they kind of had in mind, what they're going to be finding,
Yeah, what they imagined.
But one thing that we can go ahead and kind of say is that, as Hanji said, it looks just like a laboratory.
Yeah.
It looks
like
perfectly
all this
like
is
a
widely
doctor's.
available. None of this looks secretive.
Yeah.
Everything's about medicine.
Exactly. And so one thing that we kind
Says,
of
I'm sure your father intended that.
yeah. I mean, obviously,
I know
Hanji
your
is
dad's
smart.
a manipulator, so
Especially after hearing the story from Sadis, when
Yeah.
he kind of went ahead and talked
and
about
being like,
certain details.
bro,
And then
you got
even-
robbed.
Yeah, exactly. But so one thing, it looked like a little bit of a pain in the ass to go ahead and get into the cellar door because he had to go ahead and kind of maneuver and roll this boulder out of the way and stuff. But I mean,
All
again,
the debris of the house and everything.
yeah, so they knew that they had some work ahead of them, but they were even kind of being thankful because even Hanji, as they finally were able to go ahead and open the hatch that led to the staircase, which leads obviously to the cellar door, is Hanji's like, wow, well, thankfully it didn't get flooded or anything,
Yeah, which is a cool detail.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there would have been some nitpickers watching and being like, that would have been flooded, or it would have gone, the fire just stopped before it.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to add that I think is interesting is, or not interesting, it's more sad, that, because we talked about last time that we went through that 2 weeks ago when we went through the episode, that think about the emotions that they must feel walking through their old hometown.
Yeah.
Now think about the emotions they must feel cleaning up their destroyed house.
Yeah.
Like they're picking up because you think about it, like if you saw a plate and a cup that you know specifically is from your house, you're going to recognize it, and your
course.
memories are going to come back.
Yeah.
Because they're picking up plates, they're picking up all rubble, they're picking up, you could see the flooring, the walls, like everything that you remember from your home. They're just seeing that it's destroyed and like brushing it away so that they can get under it. And you're not, I'm going to say the word allowed, but because Levi's there and Hanji and they want to get to work, I'm going to say you're not really allowed to sit there and reminisce as much as you really want to.
You can't sulk in your emotions because, like you
pretty
said,
much.
to your point, these are going to go ahead and spark some sort of memories, which we see actually what ends up happening with Mikasa. Is that just even a wooden cup?
Yeah, a cup that she gave him
and
once,
in that
or unless
specific-
multiple times, to give him water because he's working late.
Yeah.
Or whatever he's giving him because he's
Yeah.
working late.
And obviously, Dr. Grisha, as he says, looks like it's going to be another all-nighter. He was in there in his studies working, who knows, doing what we can assume from what was being kind of almost explained here is that he's
like mixing
medicine and
medicines,
stuff, right?
coming up with new cures, figuring things out.
But
It must suck to be a doctor in this world, knowing that there's so much better technology out there and being like, wow, we don't have
Yeah.
the advances. Which is probably why he came in and was like, I have this cure for this plague because I know more than you.
He was able to kind of essentially speed up the process a little bit and catch them up to like modern medicine based off of his knowledge. But then like to your point again, he's limited with resources.
Yeah.
Like he's not able to go ahead and do certain things because again, they're not, at least
Yeah.
this area over
And
here. In
we'll
Island
hear
of
more
Parody.
about that in this episode,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to touch on that
Yeah,
because
that's a great point for sure. But
that must be so frustrating.
yeah,
Being like, if only I had a
if I just had
microscope.
this tool, if I just had this, whatever. And the thing is, he can go out there and mention these tools specifically because then they're going to go ahead and start, raising a little bit of
and be
suspicion
like,
and
how
stuff.
do you know all of this?
But yeah, Grisha, I mean, he obviously was like what you can call kind of like a workaholic. He it just goes to show maybe he didn't spend a whole lot of time with his family, and I can't help but think about too with Carla, obviously the mother. I wonder how she felt about that. About Grisha being away a lot, Grisha traveling, Grisha being in his studies a lot, not necessarily, being her husband.
Maybe she was thinking it's one of those things where it's like he's just working a lot right now, but in the future he's working a lot now so that we can have more time in the future, more money in the future, whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe she was thinking, okay, in long run this is good, or I mean, I'm sure she wasn't all for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But she probably, just understood that like he's a doctor. He needs to go save people's lives.
And she saw firsthand what Grisha was capable of and the impact that he makes by literally curing the plague that, Carla was very much afraid. And even, I think, if I remember the story correctly, didn't one of her parents end up getting sick?
Yeah, I think it was one of her. Yeah, I was about to say that. I think one of her parents ended up getting it.
Yeah. So
And that's what opened the door for Grisha to riz her up.
yeah, exactly.
While Sadis was like, bruh, I'm right here, man. I called you over here to help her, not take her from me. Thanks, man.
I know. But I mean,
We wouldn't have gotten Aaron.
yeah, it's just.
Maybe that's good.
I think given the
Maybe
option,
that's a good thing.
Given the choice between Keith Sadis and Grisha.
And Grisha? I think I would have chosen Grisha.
Yeah. But yeah, so Grisha was a busy man. And credit to Carla for just being an incredible mother and, doing her best to go ahead and raise a very rebellious child in Aaron.
Yeah.
And then, Mikasa obviously is a very sweet child as well.
Very well tempered.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say very mature for her age, but obviously you're going to have to mature.
You have to.
If you watch your parents get killed and you had to kill the offenders, that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't call that maturing. I would call that traumatizing.
Yeah.
Traumaturing. I'm going to say that. She got traumatured.
But yeah, that's a great point, Lexi, that they're literally cleaning up their old home and
Yeah, because
they're
I was
picking
just
up
thinking like
all the like kitchenware and stuff.
I was trying to put myself in their shoes and thinking about how it would affect me.
Like if you went ahead and you
if
picked
we
up a
were
plate.
cleaning and we found like one of like the duck plates that mom and dad have had for forever.
Yeah.
With like the geese on them.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely feel some type of way. Memories would definitely flood back. I would want to cherish that. I'd probably want to pack it up and take it home with me.
Yeah.
But again, they don't have time to do that. They
can't
sulk. They
get in
are
your
about
feels.
to, they're about to get in the truth. They're on a mission.
Yeah.
This isn't just some reconnaissance or whatever. This isn't just some like little vacation. They're on a mission to find the truth.
Yeah.
So, and you also have Hanji and Levi over your shoulder.
Levi's the guy where, I mean, obviously at this point, let's put ourselves in Levi's shoes, because Levi's
like none of the numb. Levi's just numb.
he had to go ahead and
Glazed and
essentially
numb.
put his best friend to rest, you know, like he was the one that made the decision, you know, and even then, like a comment he says here is like, he talks about Irvin's hunches and how they're really wrong. So hey, get to work. Like you said, if they're out there and they're constantly feeling very nostalgic and, you know,
if they're looking at every little piece that they pick up.
Levi's going to go ahead and be frustrated, of course, you know? Mm-hmm. He literally tells them, you know,
Like,
hey,
we don't have time for that. Just sweep it away, clean it up. We got to get to the cellar. And he's probably being so adamant because he's like, we need to avenge Irvin. That's probably what he's thinking.
and we don't want to get on Levi's bad side because
No.
Levi, I mean,
Because the way that he kicked down that cellar door, he has kicked
Exactly.
Aaron that way.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get on his bad side.
So let's kind of talk about that. The reason why Levi had to go ahead and kick that door down is they were finally able to go ahead and clear the path. They removed the boulder. They dig their way over to the actual little, you know, cellar hatch door.
Mm-hmm.
They got to that hatch, down the
To go down the
staircase.
stairs.
Boom,
the
right there in
door.
front of that basement door. One, that's got to be surreal. You're kind of like, damn, here's the door. We finally made it.
I'm never allowed down here. I don't
No.
even know what it looks like down here.
We're finally here. This key is going to open this door.
Emotions are so high.
Yeah.
You, especially being Aaron, and you know how probably stressed out he was putting that key in and
Yeah.
it not first opening while you have Levi, Hanji, and Mikasa over your shoulders staring at you.
Yeah,
You're like, oh
that's-
crap, am I doing? Is it upside down? Am I doing it wrong? Is it working? Is it wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Probably going through so many emotions.
It's got to be so stressful because, again, like we talked about even just Levi, like you don't want to piss him off. He even gets so impatient. He just tells him to hurry up, you know? And then, but the key is not opening the door. Aaron, even, we see his eyes. He's kind of like, you know, he's like beginning to panic a
oh
little bit, you know?
God. Almost like it's his fault.
Yeah. And he says that the key, it doesn't go to this door. And now there's confusion. Even Mikasa's like, well, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like
I'm positive this
I'm
is.
sure it's a key that Dr. Yeager had.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I'm positive this is Grisha's key.
And
So this has to be something to do with the cellar, right?
well, then Levi, like we talked about, you know, takes matters into his own hands, his own feet. And he kicks the door enough to where he's able to go ahead and cause it to go ahead and budge,
Yeah.
push forward, and kind of essentially break off the hinge and the lock, and there is a slight opening. And then we see that Levi's able to go ahead and kind of push the door even further so that they're able to go and find a way into the basement.
I do think that Hanji's concern is very valid, though.
Yeah.
To be like, this is a super, because obviously she was like, wait, you're gonna what? You're gonna
Yeah.
kick it down?
Yeah.
Her initial concern, her being Hanji and just probably thinking of a million different things, is like, we don't know what's down here. What if we kick and there's like rigged with some kind of booby trap? What
Great
if
point.
there's something that like we don't know what's down here? It could be stuff completely beyond our comprehension. So one, this is dangerous, and two, I want to like preserve everything and not damage anything so I can research it properly.
Yeah.
And if you kick down a door, maybe the rubble from the door will like maybe hits it. Like she's probably just thinking about a million
Also,
different things.
Kicking that door and causing it to go ahead and be essentially unusable again. What happens if, to your point, you want to travel back to this place? Like now, this is where we're gonna start getting weather damage. You know? It
Yeah.
is because of the door now no
there's
longer
no
being locked,
seal.
not being closed and stuff. Yeah, you still have that hatch, but I mean,
It's just a hatch. Matter of time
You know?
before it gets blown off.
yeah.
But yeah, totally. Because she's probably like, her being a scientist thinking, we need to preserve every single thing that is inside this room. Why are you kicking it down?
Yeah, and we like again. I love that you're tapping into the Hanji mentality because Hanji is a critical thinker. You know, she is so freaking intelligent, and now being the ongoing commander, that's the kind of stuff that now she's gonna have to think
now
about
she's
going
gonna have to
forward,
really
you know?
hone into.
So they just reclaim this territory again. What if we decide to go back to Trost, and at some point we're like, hey, let's say, you know, other high-ranking officials want to go over there and further inspect, see what medicine they're working with.
Bring in other
see
scientists.
if they're able to go ahead and kind of, you know, hey, Josh, what's up,
Hello,
dude?
Josh.
What's up, Josh?
Hey, man.
Appreciate you. No worries, man. Don't worry about being late. We are live, though. Yeah, and
We
you're here
are
with us,
indeed
and we're
live.
thankful that you're here live with us. We're just talking about the story right now. Our characters were able to finally get into the basement, thanks to
They're in the cellar.
thanks to Levi kicking that door down.
Yeah.
But like Lexi was talking about, I mean, Hanji had her kind of concerns because, like, if Levi does something reckless, again, let's say, you know, people wanted to go ahead and travel back over to Walmaria, and let's say they want to go ahead and try to, you know, rebuild stuff there, create homes and stuff, you know, and they want to go back over to the cellar and they want to, you know, look at the medicine they have. Let's say this isn't going to be an easy travel. Like this took them what, overnight to go ahead and travel back.
Yeah.
Right. So if they go ahead and they do that, then it takes them the time. What happens if, again, like, you never know what could happen. You never know. And I mean,
Or even like animals, like mice, moths,
yeah. And I mean,
bugs.
this is just throwing this out there as just a potential theory, but we don't know if Zeke is completely gone yet. We don't know if they traveled back.
True.
What if they're just kind of waiting until
what
they
if-
end up traveling back?
Because we know well, we know that her name is Peak now, but we know at this point, we would know, oh crap, he has another intelligent Titan doing reconnaissance, being his eyes. Like, what if we're still being followed by this intelligent Titan with Zeke because they know that we're going to go to the cellar and find the truth? Maybe it's a weapon. Maybe it's you don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And then who's to say that you're not able to go and lock the door down or lock the door again? Zeke with Rhina, with Peak, decide to go ahead and let's see what's inside the cellar. You know, you never know.
Like, then what?
But the thing is, I mean, they're not going to be surprised with anything because they are from the land of
Yeah,
where they
true.
have the certain technology,
But maybe
the
they just
certain
wanted to
advanced
know,
stuff.
okay, how much do they know about us?
True.
How much do they know?
Yeah.
Let's see what they found out.
Yeah. So it's just kind of an interesting thought. I appreciate you, Lex, for going and bringing up that the mindset of
You know,
Hanji and stuff.
just that Hanji mindset.
you know,
something I just know.
Josh says, listen to the past episodes because he's trying to catch up.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank
We
you, brother.
appreciate it.
How you been? Hope you're doing well. We have missed you, yeah. And
We have.
Josh voted to travel with me, right?
I'm pretty sure
And Josh didn't respond to the Q&A, right?
he did not.
So Josh, where do you want to travel to? What is one place? And again, it can be, as we put in the Q&A, anywhere.
Anywhere.
It can be, you know, real or not real. And the little fun that we had was because you voted for me in the poll question, I'm going to be traveling with you. So
Yes, he did vote for you. I was just fact checking.
So where are we traveling to, buddy? Anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, where are we going? Anywhere.
Yeah. So he said, also at the end of season 2, Ryan and Birdie go talk with Zeke on that boat and let him know about the existence of Aaron, who's the founding Titan. So Zeke in season 3 is purely looking for Aaron. Okay. Oh, and, cool.
I'm basically
Big Godzilla fan.
Like,
Awesome. I'm growing up.
oh,
Huge Godzilla fan. I think I talked about in the podcast where back in the day when they had like Blockbuster and stuff like that, you know, any kind of little like movie rental place, I would go ahead and find the Godzilla stuff. And there's times where even I would go ahead and every time we'd go back, my family wanted to go ahead and see what was releasing, what was new, what was going to be, you know, what movies they wanted to go and see. I would get the same Godzilla stuff. So yeah, I love Godzilla too. Japan would be awesome. We talked about Japan and all that. And Hawaii would be incredible too. I have not been to Hawaii. And I think that would be an absolute beautiful trip with you.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sounds cool, man.
But yeah. So
So we get in the cellar.
we get in the cellar, like Hanji says, feels like a laboratory down here, right? But obviously they're aware that Grisha is very smart. Whatever it is, that they're trying to find isn't going to be visible. They're going to have to go and look for it.
Yeah.
Which is why Levi tells both Eren and Mikasa, like, I'm going to see if I can find it, whatever. But he essentially tells them to stop standing around and get to work.
Yeah. Irvin's hunches are rarely wrong.
Yeah, don't just stand there, get to work. Irvin's hunches are really wrong, exactly. I'm trying to see from this quote, because Hanji says it's a big quote. Right? She says, if we assume that all of this is labeled accurately, most of it seems to be widely available. So that means that the stuff that's there is already stuff that's accessible.
Yeah, it's
right?
not anything that's secretive.
Yeah.
There's nothing that seems very secretive underground. It's like if you walked in and there was like, oh, cool, Dayquil, Tylenol,
Yeah.
Mucinex, you know?
She said that all the books that we see, they all relate to medicine. This looks like a normal doctor study, and there isn't a single thing here that would arouse my suspicion, and I'm sure that is what your father intended.
Kind of like just walking into like a old-fashioned drugstore, being like, cool.
Yeah, great point.
None of this is really any suspicion. So now, obviously, that's why they're thinking, okay, we need to look. Especially because Hanji does mention, again, with her critical thinking, she says, if these are labeled correctly, then nothing's weird.
Yeah. Which is why we see Levi going through the assorted medicine, right? Maybe he's trying to see if there's any kind of, anything suspicious.
Yeah, anything
Right?
suspicious. Or him like waving the books, trying to see if anything's going to fall out, like notes or pictures. Or because again, none of them have any idea what they're looking for exactly.
They have never even been in this basement.
Never been in the basement. As far as we know, they've never been in there.
Yeah. Never.
So, yeah, having no idea what you're looking for, just being like, cool, there was a key that didn't lead to this. So let's keep looking, see what's going on.
One thing, too, is that we talked about it a little bit briefly, but I kind of want to touch on a little bit more about the Irvin's hunches are really wrong statement by Levi. Again, I think this is a way that Levi is trying to go ahead and prove Irvin wrong. Not wrong. Prove Irvin right.
Yeah.
Right? Because the fact that he says that he's rarely wrong.
It's sort of like avenging.
This is a way of like, look, you weren't able to make it to the cellar, but we're here. We're going to find it. Whatever it is we're looking for,
we're going to do this in your honor, for your passion and everything.
And I think that's
also, I think it's funny that he mentions his hunches are rarely wrong, which means Irvin has probably been wrong before.
He's been wrong before.
Because he didn't say he's never wrong, say he's rarely wrong, which means Irvin has been wrong before, given he's only human. But I think that was a funny detail.
Yeah.
But continue what you were going to say. I
was just going to say that with Levi wanting to avenge and wanting to do this in honor of Irvin, that's probably why he's a little bit more strict and on edge. A little bit. Because him so quickly to go ahead and tell Eren, get out of my way. Just keep the door down. Like,
very matter of fact, very just, let's get this done.
He acted emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think at this point here, Levi is doing things in a more... In a manner where he's not as calm, he's not as collected, he's
going very cut and dried, very assertive, almost like rushing.
Yeah.
Almost just I don't know if he's thinking, okay, the quicker we get the truth, the quicker I can properly grieve Irvin, or the quicker we can honor him.
Point too, yeah.
I don't know.
And you know that he wants to go ahead and whatever truth they find out, he wants to attach that to Irvin.
Josh says that Levi's emotional because Zeke isn't dead yet. That's when his mission ends.
Too. Maybe it's just the aggravation that.
True.
Literally, the last mission you were given, the last thing that you wanted to do for Irvin, was to take down the Beast Titan.
Yeah, is to kill Zeke, and he didn't.
Yeah, and that's a great point.
That's
Thank
true.
You so much for that, Josh.
Because you did mention like they're still out there. What if the Card Titan is doing reconnaissance? Like you don't know.
Yeah,
you have no idea. So Levi being kind of in a rush and somewhat reckless is kind of I get it.
It's justified.
I get it. It is justified.
Because again, that's a great point, Josh. We talked about the fact that they're still kind of looming. They're still there. We don't know that they left, but
you don't know.
The fact that the Beast Titan is still out there, maybe Levi's trying to go ahead and be very cut and dry, matter of fact, black and white, because we got to get out of here. We're in no capable, in no shape to go ahead and get into battle with the Beast.
Yeah, we can't do that right now.
Yeah. You know, we have a kid up there who's just barely waking up, realizing that he's a Titan.
Yeah.
Like, he's
so
not,
has
he's
no
not gonna
idea
get
how to
ready.
use it yet.
I mean, Aaron would be able to go ahead and essentially try to protect, but Aaron's not going to be able to fight against the Beast Titan. Levi, I mean...
Yeah, if there's 2 intelligence versus just Aaron and 3 other people, that's a loss. That's a loss.
Rhino also, we don't know what shape he's in, but I mean, obviously Rhino was in bad shape. But
Yeah,
what if
maybe
he was
3.
able to go ahead and somehow, repair his body to where he can fight again? You don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So it's probably a combination of I want to honor Irvin, and also we got to do this quick because
we got to get the hell
they're
out of
still
here.
out there.
Yeah. Josh continues, I'm more shocked that Aaron isn't focused on some random dude talking about his dad and stuff. Yeah, that's also crazy details. And when this random person, Zeke, talking to Aaron, bringing up his dad, telling that I will come back for you, whatever the case is, that isn't...
Like you're not thinking who was he? Did it? Maybe it's more of just there's so much going on because this is in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just, one task at a time, one task at hand.
Yeah.
But also we know that Aaron isn't necessarily the brightest.
The thing too is that that happened, right? Zeke's first encounter with Aaron, that happened. But what happened immediately afterwards was a very emotional decision.
Yes.
So
their emotions have been through it.
So it could
in
be
the past 24 hours.
It could be like a matter of that would be stuck in Aaron's mind, but because he almost lost his best friend, and he had to
kind of
fight for his best friend,
overshadows it.
maybe that was so tasking and draining that he unfortunately forgot about that detail. And now, like Lexi said, there's no time to go ahead and go back and recall that. Now it's like cellar, basement. We need to go now.
Especially because Levi is on your neck doing that, breathing down your neck doing that. So, yeah, that's got to be why.
Yeah.
And when I was saying that Aaron isn't necessarily the brightest, I wanted to say that I think it's really funny when he initially... So then Mikasa finds, after searching, after obviously Mikasa sees a cup and...
She sparks that memory.
Yeah, sparks that memory. She bends down to pick it up and sees a keyhole. And great, there's a keyhole. They go into... open up the key. The key is correct. It opens. And Aaron's immediate response, it's empty.
Yeah.
And just probably, again, being so impatient. They've probably been there cleaning, searching, tension's probably building up. You're probably wanting to rush. So his immediate, it's empty, and Levi being like, no, idiot, it's a false bottom.
Closer. But I think too, maybe it's a little bit of trust issues, because Aaron thinking this key was going to open up the cellar door.
I know.
Didn't work.
Initially putting it in and working and unlocking and being like, oh my God, this is going to be the truth. Opening it up and it's just
There's
wood.
nothing.
It's just an empty drawer.
Empty drawer. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, the trust issues probably. Yeah, I mean, Levi, he's seen a thing or two. He knows the tricks. He was able to go ahead and kind of, see the false bottom and they removed the false bottom to find 3 carefully placed and protected journals that are all different colors.
Yeah.
In between each journal we see is kind of like a cloth fabric, which we're going to go and talk about very soon.
Yeah.
The reason why that was placed in there, but so that's what they find.
So that's what we see.
Yeah. Really interesting.
And we will see what happens next.
Yeah. Should we just go and jump into it?
Yeah, I'm totally ready.
All right. We're going to continue on now. And again, this next part here is going to go ahead and kind of take a little bit of a turn, but that's what's great about AOT.
Yeah, you can never, again, just as these characters cannot ever emotionally prepare for anything, neither can the audience.
Yeah. Constantly keeping us all on our toes. All right, here we go. We return to find Hanji sniffing the rolled up fabric that was protecting the journals. Hanji informs.
The cloth smells like peppermint oil and charcoal. Guess he was using these to ward off moisture and bugs.
Levi adds, if what we were looking for exists, then we found it. We focus on one of the journals, specifically a green journal. Aaron prepares to open the journal as he whispers to himself, after all this time, Dad might finally explain himself. Levi and Hanji stared at Eren, ready and waiting for him to reveal the truth that they've been searching for. The truth that Eren fought so hard to see. Sorry, did I say Eren? The truth Irvin fought so hard to see. Mikasa places her hand on Eren's hand, helping him open the journal. They both look into each other's eyes, knowing and understanding that everything that they've been through just to get to this point. They both open the journal to reveal a picture. We then hear Niall Dock, the commander of the military police, saying, as he recalls a memory, being in that same classroom as Irvin, who was being taught by Irvin's father. Niall Dock says, then Irvin raised his hand and asked the strangest question. How can we be sure there aren't other humans living far away from the walls? We see that Niall is having a conversation with people inside of the walls. Niall continues. His thinking was that since we'd never been able to search freely beyond the walls, we had no way of confirming that rest of humanity had been wiped out by the Titans completely. And we see now that Niall is having this conversation with Premier Zachary, Commander Dot Pixis, and other high-ranking officials. We now recall a young Irvin telling a young Niall. And yet, that's exactly what our historians would claim. Think. If our history books would claim to be unbiased, the phrasing should be, it's believed that the rest of humanity was killed. A young Niall responds, if I'm being honest, I feel like you're just splitting hairs here. A young Irvin grows frustrated. I'm not. This was a deliberate choice that they made. These books, they're commissioned and issued by the royal government itself. Get it? Their intent is to make us believe that we're the only humans left. A young Niall continues to doubt. Maybe they just assumed. Aren't you ready? Aren't you reading a little bit too far into this? We return to Niall, who's sitting at this conference table. With a look of disappointment in himself, he says, back then, I made fun of this theory. But he may have been right. Premier Zachary tells Niall, well, if he is, you'll just have to apologize to him. Commander Pixis tells everyone, as he looks through a window, look there. The sun's rising. If our heroes are going to return, it should be soon. And then they're all interrupted by a scout named Anka, who's barging in to inform.
Pardon, but the scouts came back a moment ago. They did it. They reclaimed Walmaria.
And now everyone in this room is shocked. We now see the crowd of citizens cheering with Flagle front and center. And on top of the wall, looking down at the cheering citizens, we see the backs of our remaining scouts. We see Hanji holding on to the three journals. But we now return to past events inside of the cellar as Eren has that picture in hand. Eren asks, is this a painting? Hanji asks Eren.
Let me look closer.
Hanji takes the picture in hand to examine.
No, this is far too detailed to have been drawn by a human hand.
Mikasa interrupts.
Hey.
Mikasa notices something.
There's writing on the back.
Hanji turns the picture around, examines, then says,
This is no illustration. It was made by gathering the light reflected off the subject and burning it into the image on special paper.
Eren and Mikasa both look shocked and confused as Hanji reads a letter from Grisha.
Looks quite nice, right? Where I'm from, there are many amazing technologies like this. Mankind isn't gone. Beyond the walls, countless humans can live comfortable refinement. I pray the person who finds this book will be a fellow patriot.
After that, the credits end, but we get an after credit scene. And this is where we talked about things take a little bit of a turn. In this scene, we see a young Grisha telling his younger sister, "Hurry, Faye! If we're not fast, we'll miss it!" Faye replies,
Wait up, Grisha!
They both prepare to exit out of their front door, but their mother tells them both,
Not so fast. Come here. Don't forget again.
Their mother places an armband of a specific sign on their left arms.
You can't go outside without your armbands. And Grisha, you mustn't go past the walls for any reason.
Faye takes off running as Grisha chases to stay close. Young Grisha tells his mother, "Don't worry, Mom. We'll be good." Faye tells their mother,
Yeah, we'll see you later, okay?
They both excitedly take off to explore as the camera scans this unknown, unfamiliar location. And as the camera scans to the sky, we can see a blimp. Adult Grisha can now be heard saying, "As we look at the citizens in this town," Grisha says, "When I first considered how best I should start my story, my thoughts turned to that day." We see young Grisha and his younger sister Faye chasing the blimp in the sky. The blimp passes over a wall as Grisha and Faye both stop. Faye, staring at the blimp with excitement and ambition, says,
I love it! When I'm rich someday, I want to ride in an airship that looks exactly like that one.
Young Grisha responds, "What are you talking about? There's no way either of us will get rich." A sad Faye replies,
I know, but it's nice to pretend. I wonder what all we could see from up there.
The blimp passes, now no longer in eyesight.
There it goes.
We see young Grisha thinking to himself, contemplating. And then Grisha grabs his sister's hand and they prepare to run past the other side of the wall. Now, what we see on the other side of the wall is what appears to be officers from some military branch. Faye asks Grisha,
Where are we going?
Grisha tells his sister, "My teacher told me something. He said the airships land at a place nearby. Let's go watch." Faye responds,
But Mom said we shouldn't leave the walls no matter what.
Grisha reassures, "It'll be fine. We'll just be gone for a minute." They both run past the officer as the officer now begins chasing after them. Adult Grisha continues his story. That fateful day that I, just a naive youth, was made to face the truth of this world. To be continued.
Oh God.
Wow. How things really do take a turn, and the story changes just so that we can be left with
I know.
like a what the heck moment. Yeah. So Josh says with the scouts, we got that scene where, after the kind of, moment of Niall, who we've learned has a strong relationship.
Yeah, it was in the
Some would
same
say
class.
a friendship.
Yeah.
With and definitely a respect. They respect each other. With Irvin, not knowing what Irvin's fate has become, and I know that you even reacted to Premier Zachary's quote of like,
Yeah.
"Oh, maybe you could just apologize to him when he gets back."
Well, just apologize to him. Well,
Niall is
he will
obviously
not be coming back.
He's obviously thinking about the theories, the questions that young Irvin had, that young Irvin was so passionate about and trying to explain, trying to prove, even just with his, his questioning. He wants other people to question it as well. Well, the point I'm trying to make here is, once they're interrupted with the news, with the announcement that the scouts have returned and they have reclaimed Walmaria, Josh says there's only 9 of them.
Yeah.
We see the 9 of them
That's crazy.
standing shoulder to shoulder looking down at the crowd celebrating. This crowd, I can imagine, was informed of their arrival, but I don't think the crowd has seen them yet. But the scouts.
So they seem very they're probably expecting, the army, a whole,
They're expecting
all the soldiers to come back,
Yeah.
and maybe a few missing, being like, yeah, we did it. Obviously, everyone's so happy.
And they haven't seen the unfortunate loss that they've all suffered, especially losing their commander.
Yeah.
But that scene of the 9 of them looking down is iconic, and it's emotional because
It's that bittersweet, like,
you don't see their faces, you don't see how they're reacting to the crowd cheering them on, but you know that they're feeling intense emotion. They're not celebrating how they left being cheered on. They literally like, yeah. They didn't know how to react. Even Irvin was like, he was like,
yeah, everyone was pumped up, hyped, like one of the first times, if not the first time, that the soldiers have gotten, this military has been able to get all the support from
an actual
from the citizens.
Celebratory send-off.
Yeah.
They're looking down, and their body language says a lot. Their lack of a visible emotion says a lot. The fact that you can almost feel them processing everything that they got, everything that they went through, all the loss,
Yeah.
just to be there.
I was going to say, I feel like this is the moment that they're now recalling everything that just happened. And
Yeah.
they're like, what the heck? Like, they're not thinking about like this little celebration. They're just like, oh my God, yeah, we won, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And all of this has happened. Now we have, it just doesn't end. Now we have this to do. And now we have these booklets. And now we have like,
Exactly. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about that, but exactly. So like Josh is saying, like literally the annihilation of the scouts, but fortunately the scout regiment becomes strong again. But unfortunately full of Jaegerists though.
you're lucky Heiss is not here. He'd be like, yeah.
He'd be like full on, pro Jaegerist and stuff and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, again, that scene really kind of stuck with me. But
Also, side note, Eddie has DM'd us saying, AJ, Lexi, I know that I'm tuning in through my computer,
right on.
but it
What's up,
doesn't
Eddie?
it doesn't let me comment. I can't comment under the chat, but I am present and listening.
Hell yeah, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
We're glad that you're with us.
No worries at all. Thank you for even taking time out of your day to listen and watch. We appreciate it.
Eddie did not respond to the Q&A, right?
He did not.
So are you able to go and communicate with him?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead and let
I mean, he can listen to us. He can hear
Also,
us now.
yeah, that's right,
He just
Eddie.
can't comment.
So we want to know, you obviously voted to go and travel with Zach. Where are you traveling with Zach to? We would love to go ahead and find out.
I have our DM open, so go ahead and feel free to DM
So
me.
Eddie,
I'll
you're still
relay the
listening?
message to AJ.
Go ahead and tell us where you're traveling to Zach with. Yeah. But in the meantime, we'll continue. So that cloth that we were kind of talking about, it's as Hanji goes and informs that
Hanji's
it is
first reaction is to smell it.
to smell it. Yeah.
I mean,
so,
she could probably smell the peppermint off of it and was like, it's coming from this. But
Yeah.
I mean, we know that Hanji's a weird person.
She's very, very weird.
I guarantee you that if they still had Mike, he would have known there's something in that drawer when they just walk in.
Exactly.
There's peppermint and charcoal in that drawer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that drawer is the one with the keyhole. Okay, we'll do that. If they had Mike, this would have gone by way faster.
That's a great point.
He would have sniffed it out immediately. Oh, R.I.P. Mike.
Do we think that, again, sorry, not to go ahead and kind of go down this rabbit hole, but
Okay.
we talked about that detail that actually Josh informed us about the Titans hiding, right, underground. If Mike's there, does he smell them? Is he like,
He might have,
there's Titans?
because there were tubes, so there is an airway going
Does
through.
he smell the Titans nearby? Does he know? And is he like on red alert? Because again, they're like, once
He's
they get
like,
to the walls,
I smell
they're
Titans
like,
around,
they're
but
like,
I don't know where they're
It's way
at.
too quiet. There's like, it's almost eerie
Yeah.
how quiet it is. You know, who's to say? But it's
And Mike
it's,
might have been able to literally sniff it out.
yeah, literally. I mean, who knows? Maybe he would have been helpful in trying to find Rhina inside the walls. You don't
I
know.
All
That's
the
a little
times
bit.
that we think about the hypotheticals of, if we had this person, usually
Yeah.
we're thinking of Mike.
Yeah.
But like, if they were there, like, how different it would have been. Like, he probably would have sniffed out those underground titans, and he probably would have been, you know, same thing with the seller right now that I just mentioned, been able to be like, okay, we are saving ourselves time. Yeah, that medicine's correct. Yeah, that medicine is correct. Yeah, that medicine's labeled correctly. Like, he probably would have been the one to do all of that.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of Levi being like, I think this is Dayquil. Like,
yeah.
So, dang.
Yeah, it's funny to go ahead and kind of just like go down those little rabbit holes and stuff.
I know.
And
The hypotheticals.
The hypotheticals.
Also, fun fact that I meant to say in the podcast that I keep getting reminded of on Twitter. Mikasa and Zeke never interact. Ever.
Really?
In all of AOT.
Wow.
They never share any words with each other.
Interesting.
Which is so weird because I've seen that post multiple times to be like, these two characters never interacted, and the responses are, you know, obviously people being like, wow, really? I could have sworn, but I guess not. Like, I guess you're right. And also responses being like, yeah, Zeke's lucky that he didn't get to talk to Mikasa because she would have murdered him.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was just a little fun fact.
That's an interesting little fact for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like it had to have happened, but now that I'm really thinking specifics, it hasn't.
Yeah.
It really has not. She's been in the vicinity of him, obviously.
Yeah. I'm even thinking like
they've never shared words.
But like with the exception of like obviously Armin and Zeke having that kind of conversation in the paths. Have they had kind of a, maybe they have over in, wait, Mikasa wasn't in the blimp when they
that's what I was just thinking. I think that she's maybe,
but just been within the vicinity, not had actual words with.
Yeah, I think it's just she's been in the vicinity.
Yeah.
But didn't actually, like, she more was probably, if I remember correctly, she was like in the background listening to him being like miscalculations, you know?
Yeah.
But she wasn't gonna, you know, she wasn't the person to be like, what does that mean? Like, she never,
yeah,
like,
she's not, well,
she's
even
also
just with
just
her
not,
character, she's not very vocal when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know?
She's very much an observer.
Yeah.
And she's just there to be Aaron's protector.
Still crazy because those two characters are very important to the story.
Yes,
for them not to have any
vital.
kind of interaction.
Yeah.
Like because that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was super shocking, and I kept forgetting to mention it to you, but I just remembered.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lex, for that. And obviously, if you have any other cool little facts like that, you know, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, I follow some Attack on Titan pages on Twitter, so I get those little fun facts all the time.
And for any of our friends, if you guys want to go ahead and if you have any facts, you know, go ahead and let us know over in chat because as we've stated before plenty of times in past episodes, like we love learning more about AOT. We love finding those little cool little facts and stuff.
Especially because we're not manga readers, so there's some stuff that's in the manga that provides more context, more detail. That's like, oh, cool, we didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Also, Eddie has an answer.
Oh, cool.
Eddie's answer is I would travel with Zach to explore South America.
Oh, okay.
Because of how much I see. Oh, because of how much I see that Zach seems to be nature. Hold on. Because of how much I see, how much he seems to like nature-based areas. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So how much? Yeah, Zach is very much a nature boy.
Yeah.
Nature-based areas, and the majority of South America seems to be like that, which I would be eager to explore, and I would like to travel with AJ and Lexi to Japan for the love of anime we share.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of our responses was, Japan,
and it was from Aura.
Oh yeah, Aura.
Aura AB.
So. Because Aura didn't vote in the poll, we're like, oh, I guess that means we're all going to Japan.
We're all going.
So yeah.
Looks like Eddie's joining.
Yeah, Eddie's joining us over to Japan.
Also, Eddie, awesome. I noticed that you put down that, AJ and Lex can go to Japan, but not Zach. He's already been there.
Yeah. But I guess me and Bobby will see you and Eddie, or we'll see you and Zach over in South America.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. South America.
Bobby also, he in the Q&A, he said...
he said Europe or South America.
Yeah.
Which would be very cool. Yeah, so cool. Really cool. Thanks for your answer,
Eddie. Thank you so much for that, Eddie. So let's talk about this cloth. Obviously, the purpose of it, as Hanji informs, is that it's to ward off moisture and bugs. Which again, great thinking.
Very smart
by Grisha. You know.
Because he didn't know
He didn't anticipate him essentially kind of like being, I guess, away for so long. I think he anticipates him having to go ahead and leave for a long time, obviously,
for a while,
to go ahead and even just lay down his life. You know, he was aware of that, so maybe that's why.
And he probably wasn't anticipating. I mean, it didn't happen, but he probably wasn't anticipating, you know, Aaron going there immediately.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as like everything's okay. Like he probably was expecting this is going to be a long amount of time before someone gets here, or even like a just in case. This needs to be preserved because this is priceless information in this world. Anything to preserve it is vital.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Grisha's smart enough to know that peppermint and charcoal ward off moisture and bugs.
The more you know. So let's talk about what they find.
Maybe Light would have done that to his death note.
All right.
Can you imagine a bug? You see, there's like a termite chewing on your death note.
Oh god.
Like, dude,
that wouldn't be good.
my weapon.
But yeah, so they end up finding 3 journals, and when they go ahead and they look through this green journal, literally as soon as you open it up, they go ahead and they see a picture, right? A picture that they don't know is a photo.
Yeah.
And that's another interesting thing to go ahead and kind of talk about because
more on that technology aspect.
Yeah. So we kind of bookmarked it a little bit as a thought that Lexi had at the start of this episode, but we can go ahead and kind of talk about it now when it comes to the advanced technologies that Grisha had over at his previous home, where we saw obviously young Grisha here being we see kind of how modern that specific area is. We see the aircrafts that they go in there, they're chasing.
Like there's some kind of, it's industrialized in some kind of way. Yeah. Some kind of machinery.
We understand that they have, obviously more advanced technologies, and obviously they're able to go ahead and take pictures. And it's cool how even Hanji explains how Grisha explains the process of it, and Hanji's able to go ahead and read it.
Yeah, Hanji reads it aloud.
And it's cool that Grisha is able to go ahead and be so, I guess, thoughtful enough to give the explanation of the process and how this was created to somebody from this, he doesn't know who's going to find this, but it's just being able to go ahead and to inform them, so that maybe again it's so that he can maybe help speed up the technologies over here in this island.
Yeah.
Because we understand that they don't have those advanced technologies. They don't have those aircrafts. They don't have, obviously, cameras that are going to be able to go ahead and, however it was explained,
it reflects light and gets burned into a special paper.
Yeah, exactly. Because Aaron, first seeing it, he sees these
trying to rationalize it with his knowledge,
and he's saying like, oh, like, was this essentially like, was this drawn or something? Is this a painting?
What is this?
Exactly, a painting. And
then obviously Hanji's like, this is way too realistic to be done by a human. Like she's thinking very smart. She's like, this is way too good, way too calculated. It had to be done by a machine.
So, and then Josh even tells us from the quote that Grisha ends up saying, he says, I hope a fellow patriot finds this, is what he says. So he never wrote it with the intention of Aaron being the one to find it. Yeah, great point. More like someone like Irvin. Wow, I like that a lot. More like someone like Irvin.
I like that too.
And
because you know what? Irvin would have been that fellow patriot.
Yeah, exactly. Irvin would have been the person to go ahead and find this.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Josh, you're so smart.
Yeah, Josh, that's a great point for bringing that up, because we talked about how this was Irvin's motivation. This was his mission to go ahead and find whatever it is that they just found. And if Irvin would have been the one to read this, like that moment, that quote, I hope a fellow patriot finds this, like
would have been like, yes, finally, someone like me.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's
what I've been
a great
looking
detail.
for.
That's a great detail.
Aww,
for sure.
But
we never really get to go ahead and focus on this photo. We don't focus on it yet.
Not yet.
We obviously are aware what the photo is. We understand what
we know what it is.
What the photo shows, but we don't get that yet. As a matter of fact, again, we get the credits. We get the credits, but for anybody watching, you notice the credits are coming on a little bit too early. Right?
Like, there's still time left.
We didn't get it to be continued. So the credits just roll. All right. Like myself, I decided to go ahead and throughout the kind of process of getting our breakdown analysis ready, I start kind of scanning through the credits to see what we're working with here, and then all of a sudden I see a scene that I forgot happened over in this moment, in this episode, and that would be again, going over to this unknown area, this unknown location at the time. And we see a young Grisha. Young Grisha's there with his younger sister, Faye. They're both very curious, very adventurous. We can see that. And let me go ahead and get to that point here. So what they're doing here is that they're chasing, as we mentioned, this aircraft, right? They're going to. But what is very sad is that even their mother is being, obviously very protective of them. We don't see the father in this scene, but their mother tells them both to don't forget these. And it's weird because we see this for the first time over in AOT.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what's going on here? And obviously for us, we understand what kind of in our history what could represent. Whenever somebody goes out there and puts on a specific like symbol as a sleeve that indicates something, some sort of affiliation, some sort of loyalty,
allegiance,
some sort of allegiance, something, right? That obviously is something that is going to separate you from another group. And what we understand is that this is obviously important because their mother says you can't go outside without your armbands. Now, what would happen if you went outside without them?
Yeah.
Right?
We don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out. But then the mother tells Grisha that you mustn't go past the walls for any reason. Yeah, really interesting here. But again,
so something is dangerous. There's something dangerous. There's something.
There's specific rules, which we know. Wear the armband, and don't go past the walls. Now we understand walls. We hear the word walls. We think of like, don't go past the walls because there's titans.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I didn't think about that parallel.
So maybe that could be something where you would think like, oh, there's titans over in this area. You know, maybe this is an area way back when, and maybe somehow, we talked about how memories are able to be erased, right? Because of the founding Titan. They're able to go erase memories. Maybe this is a time when memories weren't erased yet, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and kind of theorize stuff, but we understand that also that took place 100 years ago. Grisha's not that old.
Yeah.
So
True.
At that point, you're like trying to rationalize, wait, what the fuck's going on here?
Hey, what is happening?
How are we in a place here where we have these advanced technologies, but, we're talking about don't go past the walls. Okay. Obviously, something else is dangerous back there, past that wall. But again, these two kids, I mean, they're so full of life, and they want to learn, and they want to see, and they get excited about like just being adventurous and
kind of something new, something.
Yeah, and they obviously have a great relationship with each other, being siblings and being brother and sister. There obviously is a lot of trust, and what's sad is Grisha tells his mother, "Don't worry, Mom, we'll be good." And Faye tells their mother, "Yeah, we'll see you later." Grisha gives us his story, which we can assume that Hanji's reading.
Yeah.
Grisha says...
Transitions from Hanji's voice to Grisha's adult voice.
When I first considered how best I should start my story, my thoughts turned to that day, which we can imagine that what we see here is going to be that day.
That day.
And Josh says that day, as he has in quotations. It's such an ominous title.
I know.
Coming up. Yeah. And then when we go ahead and we hear the tone of Grisha's voice, but we see these children so excited. We can only imagine, fuck. As if we already didn't have trust issues with AOT.
Know.
Something's going to happen.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like, nothing's ever good for too long. Like, some tragedy.
The fact that, to this point, none of us knew, watching it for the first time, that Grisha had a sister. Not a good sign.
Because watching this now, you're probably thinking, okay, where is she now? What happens? Like,
Yeah.
watching it watching it while it was coming out, without knowing what ends up happening in season 4. But
So their excitement, their adventure-seeking mentality causes them to go ahead and chase this aircraft that we see as like this blimp in the sky, and it gets to a point where they have to stop because the blimp goes past the wall. And we talk about the ambition that these kids have, specifically Faye. She and for as young as she is here, we could probably assume that she's probably like anywhere from like, I don't know, like, how old do we think she is here?
I feel like she's anywhere from like 6 to 10. She's probably like 7 or 8 years old. I'm guessing. That's my guess.
It's a good guess, yeah. Because I was thinking, man, she's obviously very well spoken. She obviously has, these dreams and ambitions that she wants to go ahead and accomplish. And one of that being that she sees the aircraft. She talks about how much she loves it and that she wants to be rich so that she can go ahead and ride in that airship, or at least one that looks exactly like that one. And of course, Grisha's like, maybe this is kind of understanding the life that they live. Maybe it has something to do with their armbands. But he says there's no way that either of us will get rich.
Yeah.
And then Faye realizing it too, saying that I know, but it's just nice to pretend. And she wonders,
which is I feel like so mature for a child to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
For someone so young to be like, yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but I still would like to dream.
Exactly.
Like, that's such a complicated idea for a child to understand.
One thing I do want to go ahead and kind of mention, and I didn't put in the notes here, but I did want to go and talk about it, is that as they go ahead and they're chasing this blimp, this aircraft in the sky, they actually go ahead and they pass, and they actually kind of brush not shoulders with, but they go ahead and kind of bump into this character, and he goes out there and he's kind of telling you like yeah, I think he says Grisha's name, and it says for them to be careful. And this character looks like Dr. Saver.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it looks like Saver.
It looks like Saver. Obviously, Saver is the doctor who ends up becoming the Beast Titan. The previous Beast Titan before.
Yeah, he was
Zeke.
Zeke's predecessor.
Exactly, and the one who ends up becoming this father figure.
The Ram one.
Yeah, because it becomes a father figure to Zeke, and the reason why this could be Dr. Saver is because this person looked much younger to where we saw Dr. Saver when he was having those conversations and then that relationship and connection with Zeke.
They just look very similar. Very similar.
Very
hair,
similar, and then I'm thinking
glasses, face shape,
potentially even voice.
Yeah, yeah, true. He does just seem much younger, obviously.
Yeah. Real quick, Josh, I forgot to mention, Josh says Grisha taking his sister outside the walls is what starts the story, according to Kruger and Aaron.
Eddie says it is Saver. It's confirmed. It is Saver.
There it is. Confirmation there.
Thank you for that, Eddie.
But yeah, I mean,
our producer giving us good good info. Thank you.
We got the clarity there, and so I mean, again, that is Saver. Saver is also living in that area, and then for anybody that knows when it comes to Saver, I mean, this area is Marley, and Saver is a scientist, right? He's like a scientist, right?
Yeah.
And who isn't built for battle, but he's very intelligent and very strategic, and was able to go ahead and be helpful in that way. We see a young Saver, which is kind of a cool little Easter egg there.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where this blimp pass is no longer in sight. Faye is having these aspirations at this young age. She even says, I wonder what all we can see from up there. Again, very insightful for this young lady. And then Grisha, we see him really kind of thinking to himself, and he talks about, he brings up a teacher. I wonder who this teacher is. Don't know. Don't think it's Saver.
Yeah, we don't get a confirmation.
We don't know that Saver is necessarily a teacher. We don't know that he's teaching these kids. We don't know that. But anyway, so Grisha tells his sister as he grabs her hand and starts leading her as they prepare to go past the walls. Now, to give you guys a visual for people who haven't seen it, essentially it's kind of like a checkpoint.
Yeah,
we see that there's like a military officer there who is essentially, as people try to pass through this wall, he's like checking something, and he's allowing people to go through. as long as they have whatever specific item that they need. Obviously, Grisha and his family, they don't have the whatever the requirements are to go ahead and leave, because they were given specific direction by their mother to never go past the wall, right? Don't go on the other side of that wall. Which I think at this point, as we see people are going, and being allowed to go past the other side of the wall, boom. We immediately know that, okay, Titans aren't on the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
If people are going through there, then it isn't Titans.
It's something, there's no Titans there.
What else is it, right? Well, Grisha tells us that his teacher told him something. He said that the airships land at a place nearby, and he wants to go ahead and watch. Again, the curiosity getting the best of these, young, ambitious children. Faye reiterates, Mom said that we shouldn't leave the walls no matter what. And Grisha tries to reassure, saying that it'll be fine. We'll only be gone for a minute. Famous last words. So what we see now is that they go past the wall. Obviously, weren't allowed to get past the wall, as a military officer is chasing after them. And we're left with Grisha saying that fateful day, I, as a naive youth, was made to face the truth of this world. Again, the tone can only tell us that it's not good, and that's where we're left with our to be continued.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tragedy of the AOT world, and everybody unfortunately has to endure some sort of loss, and no matter the character. We've seen so many of these characters get introduced to us. Anytime we go further into their story, you come to find out that there was something that happened to them in their life, something very tragic. And even if they didn't experience anything tragic to get to where they're at, as soon as they join the freaking Scouts, or as soon as they, whatever it is, whatever branch they end up joining, they're experiencing something. A character that came to mind was, of course, John. John seemed like he had a really good life as an only child prior to becoming a recruit. And then, John learned very, very quickly upon joining the Scouts, a branch that he didn't even anticipate joining. Obviously he wanted to be a military police, but it was because of the loss of Marco. And that is the moment where he kind of suffered that harsh reality that those that are close to you, those that you care about, or even those that mean a lot to you, to a point where it's like, they've left their impacts, because we understand Marco left an impact, and John, talking about his leadership, John made it kind of his mission to go ahead and become a scout after that loss. So regardless, in some capacity, if you're living in the AOT world, you're going to go ahead and be faced with, as Grisha says, you're going to go ahead and face the truth of this world. And it's all
kind of similar
tragic.
to when he told Aaron, I'll show you the cellar once you realize the truth.
And that is, wow, that's a great point. So maybe
whatever the truth he defines it as is maybe just how harsh the world is.
Talking about,
Dang.
I love that, Lex. Thank you so much for going ahead and circling back to that.
I'm glad I remembered.
We talked about what truth is Grisha talking about.
Yeah.
But maybe Grisha's talking about the truth of just whatever happens over here in this day. The truth of just like, who knows, whether that be the corruption or whether that be, all of the hidden.
Yeah. Or that it's, you're not the only humans.
Yeah.
Or that there's other Titan use. I don't know.
Yeah. But
maybe it's just that the world is cruel.
Maybe. I mean, we understand this, like, as we talked about this AOT world, it's a really cruel one to be a part of, which why when we asked you guys a question about where do you guys want to go and travel to, anywhere, we're glad none of you guys said, we want to go to Shigan, or we don't want to go to,
just Island of Parody. No.
We're glad you guys didn't say any of that, because if you guys voted for us, guess what? It means we're going with you.
We have to go with you, and dang.
Yeah.
Can we stay in Walsina?
Pass. I go with Josh. Josh is like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna become a recruit. I'm like,
No, you're
"Wait."
not. We're gonna turn into Carla.
You're like,
No, you are not. Get those ideas out of your head.
Yeah.
But dang.
But yeah, this episode kind of took a turn where we're like left with this whole other kind of
So
crazy
many
revelation.
mixed emotions.
This, like thing of like, wait, what's going on here? I'd be sick. Yeah. Do we have any other final thoughts? Anything we kind of missed? I know we kind of touched on the Nile Doc thing. Maybe I don't know, did we kind of cover all that? Because Nile, I mean, he was kind of recalling, young Irvin, who also was very, we kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
You know, Irvin tried to go ahead and he wanted other people to have that same kind of passion for the unknown and thinking about,
a fellow
the potential
patriot,
truth and stuff. And another child who was, very smart and very insightful. He talks about like the words, right? And how if these words were true, wouldn't they say it in this way? Yeah.
Like
So
they
very,
say
very
that everything is estimated. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it say that it's believed that no one else is out there, not straight up matter of fact tell us
Yeah.
when we haven't been able to explore it?
But
And he he's smart. He's like, well, these books are issued by the government. You know that, right? They could put what they want in it to make us believe what they want.
exactly.
And then he gets his tinfoil hat. But fortunately, he was right.
Yeah. He does seem a little crazy when he's like literally telling tells Nile
Yeah, they're just at like a picnic table.
where he's literally like he's like, I'm not like, that was a deliberate choice they made. And
Yeah.
like,
It's like, I think you're splitting hairs here. I think you're reading too much into it. I'm not. You just need to see what I see. You don't understand it. It's all the government is making us believe these things. These books are wrong. There are people out there.
yeah.
And being like, okay, man. Yeah.
Craziness.
But yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Just kind of looking at something real quick. But yeah, I'm all out of final thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So I guess that means that wraps up another episode, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining.
I know this ended in a way where it's like, it's unknown now. We're like, oh, what's going on in this place? But we know that it's going to be something really, really sad. So I think that's why the tone's kind of like, ugh, because this is a sad thing, like, we end up knowing what happens to Faye. That shit's tragic. But yeah, guys, so that's what we got for you guys. And that again, that ends episode 19 of season 3. We'll continue on next week. I don't think there's anything happening next week, and if there is, of course, we'll update you guys. Nope. Should be good. We should be good, guys. So we should be back over on Sunday.
Yeah.
We might stream a little bit earlier, probably around like noon, so that we can go ahead and get Zach over on the pod. But I'll go ahead and I'll communicate with Zach. We'll get Zach back. Yeah, guys, this is what we got for you guys in this episode. Remember, guys, episode is streamed live on Twitch. And as I stated, we'll go and we'll update you guys whenever we stream live. All of your updates are all on Instagram at AttackOnTitan. Yeah, all the good stuff. Huge shout out, of course, to Nate. Nate goes out there and gets the episode all ready and queued up so they can get published. And appreciate Nate for helping us out in every way that he can and getting those episodes available for you guys when they are published over on. We try to get them to you guys on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays as well. But Lexi does a good job of also posting whenever the episodes are available.
As long as AJ reminds me. It's a team effort.
So over on the Instagram, guys, you guys know there's a link tree. Check that link tree out for all the different platforms. And of course, there's an online store for you guys to go ahead and, if you guys are looking for some merch, check it out. It's a link tree that'll take you to Fandomion. Fandomion is an online store where they have just an assortment of stuff. Just like how, Levi was looking through the assorted medicine and stuff, all the different books and everything. You guys can go ahead and look through to see what the hell Fandomion has, and you guys will be searching for a while. I don't know if you guys are going to go ahead and find anything that leads to a whole other world, but maybe, you never know. Just search hard enough over in Fandomion, you might find something crazy.
I know. They got all kinds of stuff, man.
But if you find something you like,
LEX.
exactly, Lexi's got a promo code for you guys to use, and that is promo code LEX for 10% off for you guys' purchase order. All right. Yeah, you guys are awesome. We love you guys. Thank you guys for everyone that joined us live and everybody listening, and the people who watched the episodes over at a later time. Yeah, we're just so thankful for you guys. You guys know how much we appreciate you guys' support. You guys mean the world to us, and these episodes are fun whenever you guys are able to go ahead, join us, talk with us live, and it's cool when we're able to go ahead and get responses like Eddie, who responded to us on Instagram and let us know
that was so cool. Thanks,
he's tuning
man.
in live and was able to go ahead and give us. And same thing with Josh. You guys are both able to give us your guys' Q&A responses live, and that was really cool. And again, for the Q&A and the poll questions, your guys' feedback, your guys' responses are really appreciated, and it's always fun for us to go ahead and kind of talk about the results. And to go ahead and kind of, it was cool to go ahead and, again, we apologize for kind of putting you guys over on blast. You didn't know if you guys thought your poll questions were going to be a little bit more anonymous, but it was
Sorry.
cool. It was cool being able to go ahead and kind of.
But then you got to answer, the hypotheticals. Okay, where are we going?
The hypotheticals of where we're traveling with you guys too, and all that good stuff. So, yeah. You guys' support's awesome. Spread the word if you guys can. We would love to go ahead and have the podcast continually to grow in any capacity.
Mm-hmm. Always willing to welcome some more friends.
Of course, you guys know that we love like-minded friends that come over here and able to go ahead and chat crazy theories with us. Just go into awesome little rabbit holes, and even just have just awesome, insightful conversations like we do with you guys. And it's a lot of fun. And so if we got more friends, that'd be really cool. But just shout out to you, loyal listeners. I guess kind of all I have to say is how we usually go end the podcast, and just I want to say, of course, be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Stay positive. I want to say that I hope that you guys have a great week. Whatever you guys end up doing, whatever you guys do for work, whatever you guys do as a hobby, I hope that you guys have a productive, fun week. I hope that you guys, when it comes to hobbies, just continue to work hard at whatever it is you guys are good at, and I hope that you guys, find any success in whatever you guys are passionate in, and I want to tell you guys that you guys are just amazing people. That you guys are just people that I never would have thought that I'd have in my life, and I'm so dang thankful for it. I always trip out because I never anticipated this being a part of my life, and I'm just so thankful, and I'm thankful to have awesome friends like you guys, and to have such support from you guys. And I know that if I'm ever going through shit, if I'm ever going through stuff, that I can just come on the pod and I can talk about it with you guys. And I know that, and I hope that you guys feel the same way with us. That if you guys are ever going through shit, ever experiencing stuff, that you guys can go ahead and reach out. And of course, we'll do the best to go ahead and respond in a timely manner. But regardless, you guys know that we care about you guys, just like how we know that you guys care about us. And to have that in my life, it's so special, and I'm so grateful, and I'm humbled and just honored to just have your guys' support. And that's just a beautiful thing about finding stuff that we are all kind of just fans of and passionate about. And again, just shout out to Isayama for coming up with an incredible story.
Yeah,
we get to go ahead and talk about, we get to go ahead and break down together.
Can't recognize him enough.
I'm just thankful. I'm always very, very thankful, and very, very just kind of at a loss for this for the podcast being in my life, and for you guys somehow finding us and being able to go ahead and just enjoy our time together. And I hope that's what we do. We go ahead and we enjoy our time together, just whether we're bullshitting about stuff or whether we're just going and focusing on the story. I hope that we all have a great time, and I think we do. I know that I do. But anyways, I hope that you guys also continue joining us on this awesome adventure. We still have a lot to cover. Again, we're not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
You guys know that we have the rest of season 3. We have all of season 4, including those hour long
Including,
final parts. But yeah, guys, again, just so thankful
Still
for you
have
guys.
3 more episodes in season 3, right?
Yeah, we just finished.
Because it ends with 22 episodes. So yeah.
We just finished 19. Right on.
Which means that's like 2 months, guys.
Yeah, 2 more months until we're done with season 3.
Yeah.
And then on to season 4 on all the craziness that comes with it, and all the new characters that we get introduced to. But yeah, guys, again, I love you guys so much, and just spread that love and positivity. You guys know, again, cliche, but it's true. We hate, but we love, and we love you guys so much. And I'm AJ saying, I'll see you guys next week. And again, have a great week. All right, Lexi, I'm going to say goodbye.
Today, I'm going to leave you guys with a very hopeful fact. There's an Australian man known as the man with the golden arm, and he would donate blood every week for 60 years before retiring at the age of 81. He ended with 1,100 donations, which means that he helped save the lives of more than 2.4 million babies.
Wow.
So one man's blood saved more than 2 million babies' lives.
That's wow.
Doesn't that make you guys feel so hopeful? Just want to leave you guys with some hope, because AOT can really get in your feels. But yeah, guys, have a safe week. Take care of yourselves, take care of others, and I hope to see you guys next week.
All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you guys.